Hello and welcome to the morning news here on Newday on TV3. My name is Beatrice Edu. Coming up in the next few minutes. Transport Minister announces plans to get more Metro Mass buses to ease recent peak hour congestions. Also on the program, Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa reveals US assures Ghana it will not hinder extradition of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and former Maslock boss Sedina Tamaklo Ationu. And much later on the program, as universities reopen, parents and guardians face rising costs as accommodation fees and basic provisions increase pressure on families. My name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Now, every single day during rush hour, thousands of commuters are trapped in endless queues at bus terminals, losing precious hours before reaching their destinations. Christian Yale spent the night at the 37 lorry station, coming face to face with exhausted passengers. This is part of a special campaign by TV3 and 3FM exposing the deepening crisis in the country's public transportation system.
There are a lot of queues around, and when you ask many of them, they'll have to be here for like 3 or from 2 hours, 30 minutes to 3 hours period before they are able to get vehicles to commute back home. For how long have you been here trying to get a car to go home?
Oh, bare 30 minutes.
Bare 30 minutes no abejina. Okay. Who fi him fa na oba ha say?
No, amasamai.
Oh, amasamai. Nti fi amasamai ho na wo ye adwuma?
Ho na mete ba be adwuma.
Ba wo be adwuma ha. Nti just say queue we e kwa amasamai.
It's very, very frustrating. Being after working for a hard day work for the day, come here, start here for about sometimes 1 hour, 2 hours before getting car to go home. It's so frustrating. So we'll be very happy if government can provide more cars for the public.
But let me show you something. So usually when the cars arrive like this, a lot of people are in a hurry to get into the bus. Although there is a queue, many would want to engage in what you call crisscrossing or trespassing to be able to get inside. This is the actual frustration that people have to go through on a daily basis before they get back home after a stressful day.
It's not easy though. I lost my phone through this mess.
You lost your phone through this mess?
Yes, and I'm just appealing for the government if it can intervene for us. We'll be very happy for that.
Benjamin lost his phone through this, and usually when it happens like this, and especially when you go to the bus terminals along the roadside, you realize that all manner of people gather there. So when you are unlucky or you don't take extra caution or care, you get to lose a lot of your things, especially your valuables in the process. So you see a lot of people, a lot more of people who have all gathered here, all waiting for it to get to their turn. Then they would get to find spaces in some of these vehicles before they get back home. And yeah, more drivers, you know, say a drew peak hours say much charge bebre bet me aka so when to 10 cedi and baby I will be bet to 10 cedi and I'll bet you 15 cedis. Why do you do that?
Oh yeah, had yes sir. Yeah, testing for no testing about the nino wa for no yes sir.
Aban per se on Metro Mass ekasa said ebeya ye de buses bebre beba krom na aba beboa mo adwuma wotusu say eno beboa na nipadom a eba be hia o ha se no eso abrase
ebeya bondi ebe ha e
for kwan ben so
because here bebre no time na start adwuma no obi ntimi bantem anajo say na obi so start na adwuma and is Metro Mass no be mo a o be ha sa nipa kro no.
What he's saying is that unlike other places here, when you come here, they don't exploit passengers. What they do really is that they manage to keep the prices at the exact rate that they charge on ordinary days. Then I asked him about government's proposal or intervention to bring a lot of buses from Metro Mass to come to augment their business. But he's of the view that that is not going to help much, because when that happens, it means that it is going to affect their business and how they do things here. I am Christian Yale. I have been coming to you with a team from the 37 lorry station.
Meanwhile, Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nikpe says the government is engaging management of Metro Mass to service 40 buses to be deployed during peak hours for commuters. He said that there is an option to explore private sector support in addressing the seeming scarcity of public transport vehicles.
It was initial arrangements just to cater for the festive periods, which we did, and it was very helpful. But we realized that when they were withdrawn, it created some challenges. So I re-engaged the MD of Metro Mass Transit Limited and then the Intercity STC coaches, and they have reintroduced some few of them. We are looking at the daily basis movement and seeing if we need to add more, then we'll add more. Again, we are also at the verge of seeing how we can get the private sector to bring in more of the buses and other vehicles to be able to help when it gets to peak hours in the mornings and in the evenings. But we have called back. When we withdrew the services, we saw the tension it created, and we have called back some of the buses to start again making their movements. We are studying the ground to see whether they will need more, or we will have to continue with the skeletal or the small number that we have operating for now.
Still on transport, some workers of the Ghana Railway Company Limited in the Western region are enraged after learning that machinery at the renovated workshop in Esikado has been scrapped. Workers who spoke on condition of anonymity expressed disapproval of management's decision to auction the machinery, arguing that the equipment was functional and could have been used for maintenance work on the Western Rail line. Abraham Mensah has the rest of the story.
A government decision in the last quarter of 2025 authorized private scrap dealers to scrap tons of metal belonging to the Ghana Railway Company Limited in the Western region. The General Secretary of the Ghana Railway Workers Union, Benjamin Esuman, clarified at the time that the decision was to allow the government raise funds to pay outstanding salaries of workers that had been in arrears for over a year. According to the General Secretary, these private scrap dealers were to scavenge old narrow-gauge rail lines, wagons, and other obsolete and broken equipment of the company located within the Western Rail line. But that has not been the case. This workshop, renovated in 2018 under the then Ministry of Railway Development, has not been spared. Heavy-duty equipment used in railway maintenance has been scrapped. Every piece of metal on these platforms, except for the cranes and the machinery under this shed, has been removed. Officers at the enclave have also been ransacked. The development has heightened tension among workers, with many fearing the company is being dismantled.
New workshop even
the workshop and even a portion of the wagon section were dismantled. We've heard the structure itself was auctioned for scrap to 2 contractors. Our workshop contained a great deal of machinery, not all of which was obsolete or faulty. They have taken even the functional equipment as scrap. As we speak, neither Kumasi, Accra, Nsuta, Takwa location nor Takrade has any useful equipment remaining.
Before
the contractor could formally hand over the site to the railways company, individuals broke into our offices and stole company property. Recently, we pursued a young man who attempted to loot from the office. His father works here. Due to the rising burglary, the contractor has had to install new locks. They have essentially destroyed everything.
Both diesel and new stores and the wagon.
According to sources, this structure has also been auctioned and will soon be demolished. As there isn't much clarity in terms of the scope of work for these private scrap dealers, workers fear the superstructure of the renovated workshop and the remaining materials may soon be scrapped. Operations via the Western Rail line are stalled for some time now, with a mounting wage bill yet to be cleared. What seems to alarm these workers is the pending retrenchment of workers on the company's most productive line. Though contractors are working on a new standard gauge line towards Awaso, The workers wish to know where their faith lies in all these developments. Abraham Mensah, TV3 News, Escado.
Development owners of vehicles registered before 2023 will be required to pay 25 Ghana cedis to the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority (DVLA) to have their records updated onto the authority's digital platform. Director of Driver Training, Testing and Licensing at the DVLA, Prosper Kafui Semevo, says the move is aimed at identifying ownership details and blocking vehicles that evaded custom duties from the system.
According to the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority (DVLA), the onboarding exercise is intended to verify the ownership of manually registered vehicles and also prevent uncustomed vehicles from remaining on the DVLA database.
There are vehicles that were manually registered. We are introducing a system that is digital. It is not possible for us to use paper files on the manual, so we have to scan these files.
Vehicle owners are expected to personally visit DVLA offices and other designated centers with their vehicles, registration documents, custom declaration forms, and Ghana card for biometric verification. He urged owners who are yet to be onboarded onto the digital platform to do so, noting that only onboarded vehicles will be eligible to receive a title certificate and an electronic registration card. Vehicles registered between January 2022 and December 2023 will not be onboarded at this stage until owners are officially notified by the DVLA. Last year, the DVLA announced plans to introduce new license plates in 2026, initially scheduled to begin in January. The new plates are expected to incorporate radio frequency identification, RFID technology, to enhance vehicle traceability. As part of the process, different RFID-enabled plates have already been designed, pending parliamentary approval.
When a vehicle is registered under the new registration system and you sell the vehicle to another person, that person will be issued with a new number. So your number, like I mentioned earlier, will be reserved in our system for you. However, if after 5 years you have not used that number on another vehicle, then that number will be assigned to another person.
Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's bring you some other news here. And as universities across the country reopen, thousands of fresh first-year students are arriving on campus with big dreams and high expectations. But beyond the excitement lies a major concern for many families: the cost of education. Now, from accommodation to academic user fees and basic provisions, the price of a degree is adding pressure to parents and guardians.
For many freshers, the first days on campus are filled with excitement, new friends, new environment, and new responsibilities. But beneath the smile is a reality many families struggle with: the rising cost of university education. Accommodation remains one of the biggest expenses for first-year students. With limited on-campus space, many freshers are forced to rent private hostel, where prices continue to rise each academic year.
Considering paying 4,000 cedis for fees, and then you are paying over 7,000, 8,000 for accommodation, I think there should be something done about the hostel on campus.
Management of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology says it is engaging hostel operators to ensure that accommodation costs remain reasonable.
We have always been intervening or having a kind of close collaboration with the hostel owners of campus to make sure that the increment will always range between 5 to 10%, and so that it doesn't go up astronomically. And so, depending on your pocket, you are able to get a place to lay your head, and a decent place.
For some of the students entering university for the first time, The journey has been both exciting and overwhelming.
I would say the feeling is okay, but then there's a bit of stress, like the lectures, like we come from class from 8, then we have till 7 p.m. So like you can imagine. And I wanted to do dentistry, but then things didn't go as planned, and then I got biological science, and now I can't do it.
My expectation for now is to get first class and get a degree, bachelor degree in bioscience, biological science.
While the no free stress policy has renewed discussions about reducing the burden on students, many families say the real challenge goes beyond tuition to the hidden and indirect cost of university life.
We thank government for this good initiative, but I would also recommend that due to the challenge in even assessing funds during the release of the admission, if government can pay for the fees even before time, because most parents need to rush and then borrow, lend money to pay for the fees, which is sometimes stressful.
The university says it has made provisions for first-year students who are struggling financially to complete their registration.
If anybody has any special need, they will have to make contact with the management of the university and know what to do to support them.
As freshers settle into campus life, the question remains whether reforms aimed at easing the financial burden will reflect the true cost of university education. Until then, for many families, the price of chasing a dream remains high. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
Now, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman considers inclusive governance as key to achieving holistic development. Speaking while touring some ministries in Accra, the Vice President charged government agencies to develop policies that target all aspects of the country's population.
The tour by the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is to foster cordial relationship between the executive and other agencies. She made her first stop at the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, where she urged the Minister, George Opariado, to ensure that policies target all segments of the population.
We launched what we call the Youth Explorer app and a dashboard to be able to monitor all the programs across this country that involves young people. We did this to stop duplication and also get effectiveness and then get the best out of the services that government is rendering.
The Vice President then moved to the Local Government Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Ministry.
We are a Ministry of Local Government Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. In the review of the Local Government Act that we are doing, we are including what we call Social Accountability Practice, that's SAP. And the Social Accountability Committee will come to your ministry, the chiefs will be there, the citizenry will be there. Then we tell you, first quarter we brought you 10 Ghana, second quarter 10 Ghana, fourth quarter 10 Ghana. So all the 40 Ghana cedis that you receive, what did you use? Then you project and tell them, we built this building for this, we did this for this, we did for this.
She emphasized the government's commitment to ensuring that interventions positively impact the livelihoods of citizens.
We should be interested in ways in which we can grow the national pie. I'm not so much interested in apportioning what we have. I'm interested in ensuring that what we have gets bigger. What I mean is this. Let's say the whole national budget is 100 cedis, and so we're all fighting. And this one should get 10% and that one should get 1% and so on. Assuming the total is 200 and not 100, then even if you got a small percentage, it's still bigger. Okay, so growing the economy should be of paramount importance, and taking good care of the people who grow the economy, and that's where you also come in. That's also as important.
This phase of her visit was to ministries headed by first-time ministers.
Now, Minister for Foreign Affairs Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa has disclosed that the United States government has assured Ghana it will not stand in the way of efforts to extradite former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and former Maslock Chief Executive Officer Sedina Tamaklo Ationu. The assurance was conveyed during a high-level engagement between officials from the ministry and a United States delegation led by acting U.S. Ambassador to Ghana of Olsen as part of a comprehensive review of Ghana's U.S. bilateral relations. Mr. Ablakwa made the disclosure in a Facebook post on Wednesday, January 14, following the meeting held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He said that the United States government indicated that without prejudice to ongoing judicial processes, it would not obstruct Ghana's efforts to secure the removal of Mr. Ofori-Atta and Ms. Tamaklo Ationu from the U.S. to face legal proceedings in Ghana. Meanwhile, the U.S. House of Representatives has voted to extend by 3 years the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGWA. Remember that AGWA grants duty-free access to the U.S. market for eligible African countries and products. That's all for the morning news here on New Day on TV3. My name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Do continue with us on New Day. I'll be doing this with Roland Walker, who is just joining us very shortly. But yes, if you're awake this morning, there is hope and there is life and there is a lot you can do. There's a lot we have for you today. Of course, from yesterday, we started bringing you updates on the transport situation in Accra and the fact that a number of people are struggling to get transport early mornings when they have to get to the office, and of course when they are done with work, what is normally called the rush hour, and the unavailability or the scarcity, as it were, of vehicles in a number of bus terminals. We brought you updates even this morning on the news about people really struggling to get vehicles. So that's, you can trust Media General and TV3, 3FM and our affiliates that will bring you the latest on this, try to get answers to this very problem. And so yes, we'll be going to bus terminals in Medina later in the course of the program. But of course, we've got other things lined up for you as well. We'll bring you the latest in sports. That game that played between for the AFCON, Nigeria and Morocco, will bring you updates on that. Of course, we would also have our regular female panel today, and we'll be talking about what came out yesterday, apparently, that NACA, as it were, could not see the fact that the textbook, which is for teachers, to guide them, apparently had this pro-LGBTQ statement in it, and NACA has come out to talk about it. So we'll bring you some more on that, on the big issue. Of course, we would also highlight on the transport campaign and try to find answers. What is really causing the scarcity of buses or private vehicles for commercial purposes, and why people are struggling, and try to bring you some answers. So yes, we'll be bringing you a lot more. But remember that we're still cashing out. Yes, *439#, you follow the prompt and you choose your favorite platform, which is right here, TV3 number 2. We're giving 10,000 Ghana cedis to 10 of you. Yesterday, we gave some. Of course, today we're giving some extra. And so, yes, you keep playing as much as possible. The more you play, the higher your chances of getting. So, yes, it's *439#. You follow the prompt, you pick your favorite platform, which is right here on TV3, and you get the opportunity of getting at least 1,000 out of the 10,000 that we're giving out. 10 of you. Yes, your favorite platform, number 2, TV3, and you get the opportunity to get 10 out of the 10,000 we're giving out. Yeah, so this morning, like I did tell you, we are going into the transport situation as well. Perhaps we're concentrating on Accra, but what is your situation in whichever part of the country you find yourself? Is it difficult to get vehicles? What information are you getting from, for instance, the GPRTU or your representatives, FCE or local assembly representatives, as regards why there seems to be scarcity of vehicles for you to go to, you know, wherever place you have to go to work, and also back from work to the house? There's also that concern about the condition of the vehicles that are sent out to the bus terminals to transport you. Are they safe? Do you feel safe in these vehicles? And how generally has the situation been? Generally in Accra, it's been a lot of pressure for a lot of workers and those who have to move around. But for you in other parts of the country, you may want to call us to also tell us what the situation is like and what you're being told as regards what the government or agencies are doing to help. We know that right here in Ghana, yesterday we heard the government spokesperson and the minister in charge of government communications, Felix Kwachofosu, when he took his turn at the government accountability series, that indeed the government was consulting, led by the Transport Ministry, of course, with agencies to ensure that particularly Metro Mass is able to release a number of vehicles to kind of augment the private vehicles that are already in place, providing commercial services to individuals to help deal with this problem and frustration. So if you're here in Accra or whichever part of the country you find yourself, call in, let us know what the situation is, what you've heard from GPRTU, or if there are government officials in your area, whatever it is they are telling you. So good morning and welcome to the This Morning segment. this morning's segment, like I did tell you, we are talking about the transport situation in Ghana and the fact that there seems to be scarcity of vehicles for people. We do have our first caller on the line. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on this morning's segment on Newday on TV3.
Good morning, Auntie D. I'm Joseph from Chifu Praso.
Good morning, Mr. Joseph, actually, from Chifu Praso. I hope you're well.
Yes, I'm good.
Thank you.
And you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Tell us what your situation is. I hope it's not that bad in Chifu Praso.
There is a problem with respect to the exorbitant price charge, unapproved.
Okay.
Looking at Cape Coast to Fupraso, it's 29 cities, but the drivers are still charging 33 cities. Last week, for example, there was a shortage of buses or the trotro from Praso to Dunkwa. And so they were charging about 80 cities, which was supposed to be 40 cities.
Okay.
And watching what happened last night, in fact, I watched Ghana Tonight with respect to the Accra situation. I think that why have we collapsed our train system in Ghana? You know, if the Accra, the Tema, another linking with Sawin, etc., if the trains are working, I think that this is the time for us to revive that sector. The minister was talking about the Metro Mass. They go to our Metro Mass terminals, buses that have been grounded down for years. We individuals and then individuals go for loan and buy this structure. They use it and get profit and buy more. What has been our story with respect to this Metro Mass with the introduction since time immemorial? I think that as a country, we need to help workers.
Okay.
How many ministries and how many sectors have buses that take even their own staff to work late, in and out? So I think that we shouldn't only be talking, but government must also speed up this Metro Mass introduction. If it is done appropriately, I think it's going to help workers who are also going to toil and work hard for the country.
And indeed, we heard Felix tell us that they are working with Metro Mass to work on these vehicles. But I wanted to get clarity from you, though, before you go. You tell us that the drivers are still charging exorbitant prices. Here in Accra, what we are learning is that if they're supposed to move at 5 or 4, they will intentionally wait until the peak hour so they can charge whichever amounts they want to charge. Is that the same situation in Chifu Praso?
Yes, sometimes at State Junction, that also happens.
Okay.
They will tell you they are not going. So people, there will be a rush hour. And then at that time, you know, you have become frustrated. I move from Praso to Cape Coast every day. And so if you are so many there, and then what bus comes, even they will try to even say, take it 4-4 instead of 3-3. And then they will charge you the higher price. And so I think that the GPRTU and then the other transport unions, they should help us. You know, not all of us can buy a car, or some may have, and because of one or two things, they may try to park it because of the journey, and then you know our roads are bad, and etc. And so I think that if the government accountability list they are doing this, it should even the transport minister must also work. DCEs must come in, other government functions, so that they will go around to help us. Because the fuel is now 10 cities also. The dollar has also come down. And so citizens must enjoy the benefit of all of this. And so that traders who go and buy some things, when they are coming, transport fares, they can also reduce their goods, etc. So I think that this is a sector B, even if for a week we should continue to hammer this area for the driver to do what is right. I think I will support that.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Joseph, for calling in from Chifu Praso and for sharing your experience as well with us, indicating that this is not just happening in Accra, but also in other parts of the country. Alhaji joins us. Good morning, Alhaji.
Yeah, Victory.
Hi, Alhaji.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alhaji.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you yourself today?
How's my friend Paparu and Nashako
and cooking tea.
They are all doing very well. Yes, Roland is equally doing very well as well. Yes.
Okay. Roland will come and join the program now. Let me send my distance to Karima Muslim, and he has an Aladi Alasan and Chairman Opposite Arm Opo and Dr. Abukar Wumbi and my municipal chief executive Sisini Alasan Bagaman and my chairman Sepa Alasan Fata. Just send my distance to these people. Is it the when you look at that this council, I think we don't enforce the law. That's how we are facing this kind of challenge. We need to enforce the law. Things will do well. Because each and any kind and people expecting that the prices should come down. And people, the gas price should come down. And they will not reduce it to now. Look at how we enjoy. I have questions to ask my boss, lawyer Edeji Tamakulo. Are they enforce the law for the people sector? Because when you go to the some of the filling stations, they did not change the meter bank. Some people sell, and they have been selling the people 12 Ghana cedis, 58 pesos. And some places 10 Ghana 10 Ghana cedis, 99 pesos. I don't know why they leave it so. So we need to enforce this kind of law. I think this will go well for us. But if not so, and we need each other and be doing like this, I think this will not go well. Because of that, the people don't want to reduce the price. Like Savugo to Tamale. You know how much they keep Savugo to Tamale. 12 Ghana cedis. 13 Ghana cedis. They don't reduce anything. Savugo to Accra is 220 Ghana cedis. 220 Ghana cedis. They said you reduce the price by 15%. They did not. Okay. So I don't know why this is happening.
Alhaji, so the challenge this morning that we're trying to get your thoughts on based on the situation you're facing is that we are having a number of people not getting vehicles, and when the vehicles come, we understand that the drivers are charging beyond the approved fees, as it were. And so we've had somebody from Chifipraso, for instance, confirming the challenge that we're facing in Accra. I don't know whether it's the same where you are.
No, but it's the same, and we have been facing that challenges. So I think if we can bring some of the different metro masses, I think that can help us. Or if I get you right.
Yes.
I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, we've already heard the government saying that the Transport Ministry is working with Metromas to release some more vehicles onto the streets. But just wanted to find out whether it's the same challenge you have where you are, scarcity of transport.
The same challenge as we have.
Okay.
And so we need to look at that and things will change.
Okay.
If your price is high and we leave your price and go to join the metro mass, I think you will come and reduce your own.
Thank you.
May God bless our homeland.
Thank you. Alhaji's line is not so clear this morning, but thank you very much, Alhaji, for calling in and for sharing that with us as well. Fred joins us live from Osu in Accra. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, Beatrice. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for this opportunity. Every time we talk about the transport sector, I am so interested and I want to contribute. You see, the problem we are having in the transport sector is very huge. This scarcity of transport that we are facing now is as a result of a whole lot of things. We need to consider one, the traffic light issues that we have in the country. So then other agencies need to come in, like the urban roads need to come in, fix all the traffic lights, because we have the MPTD on our roads and they are doing the controlling of the traffic. But then they sometimes cause more harm to the issue than good, because they use their own discretion to control the traffic. And most of the buses have travel time. Most of the buses have travel time, like the normal Trotsky. Yes, from Osu to Medina, they have a time that they spend on the road. But because we don't have a good traffic system, or we don't have, we have issues with our traffic lights, they tend to delay on the road. And you see people stuck at the bus terminus looking for bus, and they're not getting the bus just because of these traffic light issues. And it's not only the traffic lights, it's also as a result of indiscipline that is on the side of the driver. So we have the MPTD who needs to be up and doing. We also have the urban roads who needs to come in to help the transport minister, because the transport minister, Honorable Bukari Nikwe, is doing so well. He's doing so well. So they need to come on board to help him to accomplish the good work that he's doing. So we need to look at all those things. The indiscipline on our roads is very bad, Beatrice.
Thank you.
And it's causing delay. It's causing delay in the traffic, in the travel time for some of the vehicles, and for that reason, people are stuck at the bus terminal. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in from Osu right here in Accra. Hi, Roland.
Yeah, hi.
I hope you're well this morning.
I'm well. How are you too?
Yeah, very well.
I thought that you told people that I'm not well.
Oh, I didn't.
Because people are giving messages that I'm not well. But I'm well.
I didn't say that. I just said that.
Probably I'll be sick from next week, something like that. How are you?
Are you predicting sickness for yourself?
No, malaria is not sickness. It's normal.
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm well. I'm well. The transport situation is quite a difficult thing. Yes. I don't know whether it's artificially created.
That's what we're hearing, that it seems that this is artificially being done because the drivers, for those who pick commercial vehicles, they say that the cars will be there. We even heard somebody calling from Chifu Praso telling us that they know they have to move at 5. They will tell you they are not moving and then wait maybe till 6 or 6 something.
So they can double the fees?
They can double the fees, and
that's
at that time you're frustrated, so you just pick it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the man who just called us from Osu is also bringing another aspect of it, which is the indiscipline on our roads, the traffic lights not working. So it looks like really a multifaceted.
You know, it's quite surprising. You have the Ghana Private Road Transport, union as well, and then also Protour and the rest of those amalgamated groups. And sometimes, if they are incrementing fees, they love it.
Oh, of course.
But if we have stability in the Ghana cedi against the dollar,
yeah, I mean, is it not interesting that when
now they are citing some other things
they
like
said
lubricants and things
exactly. Meanwhile, when you increase the price of fuel,
if fuel is expensive, they'll say fuel.
Yes, they'll say fuel. But when
increasing.
it comes down, it's consistently gone down. They don't want to reduce it. They claim parts of vehicles are still expensive. But I think we have a caller from Kumasi in the Shanti region. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell us your name. Which part of Kumasi are you calling us from?
I'm good, Benika. I'm calling from Askorima from Boba and Kumasi.
Okay.
This is my regards to Roland and all your crew.
Who's the master planner?
No, it's a master planner.
So not getting you today. I'm able to get to this too.
Forgive me for interrupting. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Please, what's your name?
I'm Jude Benika.
Jude. Okay. For Masokore Mampori, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
This program has been a long time for Kumasi here. It has been there since long. And the other aspect of it, when you are applying a route from, let's say, Kwekejetia to Afrancho, Kronum, you get to Buong, do you know what they do up to Fenso? What they will do is that they will just wait when it is rush hour, then the buses will come, but people are already crowded. Then they will tell you that they are going to Kronum, so they will take 5 cities. When you get to Kronum, the same bus will just drop you, and then he's loading again. You have to go and take it. Then they tell you another 5 cities that they are going to Afrancho. From Afrancho, they will drop you there and load again. The same bus will be loading again. Then you take there, Before you get to Offensive or you get to War, you already paid 30 cities. And this problem has been there since in Kumasi here. I remember one time, one journalist from Ishra FM, Nana Jantua, talks about it, and then told the regional ministers and then the NCE to intervene, the Metropolitan Chief Executive to intervene. Up to now, it is still in Kumasi when it is rush hour. Come and see how people are suffering. From Keketia to Bohu or Kronum, before you get home is plus 10, getting to 11 o'clock. So this problem, I will beg on the government to intervene. Other than that, the truck drivers are killing people. They are taking a fee, charging a fee which is not approved. They will not abide by what the regulation fees. They will take their own fees. Why you say you will not bother it? They will wait until when it is rush hour, they know people are going home, there are long queues, then they will start taking special fees. Why they will not even take it? They say that I'm going from here to here. When you bother, when they get there, they said they load again, going to another place and load again. So that's how it is, Beatrice.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jude, calling us from Asokoremampo in the Ashanti region. We do have another caller on the line. Sani, good morning to you, Sani. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. How are you, madam?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm also fine. I'm calling from Wali Wali. And then first of all, I want to greet all my people in Wali Wali. And then the Education Minister, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, but he's doing a good job. And then he should prepare himself for, bigger rules awaiting him in the future. Having said that, I think that Wali Wali, we rather have, the buses are there, the cars are there, but the people, the passengers are not there to, as it were, use them. So that is the reverse of what is happening in Accra.
Why are the passengers not there?
And the reason being that almost everybody has run into the transport business in Wali Wali. So because of that, we have so many of them, the cars, but the people are not there. So they always come and park. At the end of the day, they don't even get passengers to go wherever they want to go. But one thing that is worrying us too is the fares. After the fares, they are too exorbitant. Can you imagine from Wali Wali to Tamale, which is just an hour drive, they are charging 55 Ghana cedis to that area. And it is too much. Wali Wali to Bolga too, it's not even up to, 40 minutes, drive. And they are taking 30 Ghana cedis. Wali Wali to Nairobi, 30 Ghana cedis. So that is where we have problems. And then you see that fuel prices have come down. Always, the drivers are talking about spare parts and all that. Yes, that they have not reduced spare parts, prices. But if you look at the quantum of the reduction in the fuel, yes, I think that they can compensate it from there. So they should always try and make sure that they reduce their fares. And another thing that I want to appeal to His Excellency, the President, in fact, he has to look at the Wali Wali Tamale highway and then the Wali Wali Bolga road. In fact, that road is in a deplorable state. There are manholes, potholes, wherever, everywhere in the road. So because of that, and a 1 hour journey is taking the drivers about 2 hours. So I believe that is the reason why they are also charging the fares like that. So I want to appeal to President Mahama. In fact, he is doing well, but our area will have problem with the road. And then his tenure will be meaningless if he's not able to tackle the road situation in our area. And the previous government, they awarded the road to contractors, and they even gave money to the contractor. The contractor squandered the money, and he did not do anything on that road. So I want to also call on the government to investigate that particular contractor and make sure that they retrieve that money. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sani, calling us from Wali Wali. Varied issues, but also the irony of they having vehicles and not getting passengers. That's quite interesting. On that
it's quite an interesting one as well. And so the vehicles are there, but then you're not getting passengers. And you just supposed that to several months ago and what the situation was. And I believe that perhaps maybe that will ginger us as a state to do a better public transport system.
But I'm just wondering whether the GPRT is overwhelmed or not doing what it has to do, because everybody is complaining about the exorbitant fares. drivers are just finding smart ways of charging people.
Well, clearly, the GPRTU has no control over their drivers, or either also the drivers are not comporting. They don't want to be unionized anymore. And perhaps that also means that they need to do better to bring them under a certain controlled regime, so to speak. So we have a couple of messages. This one is coming from Master Planner Junior. Says that President Mahama, please kindly reset the transport system in Ghana. It seems the resetting has not gotten there yet. And says, anyway, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is number 3 on the ballot paper, 16 days more to go. Master Planner Junior, King Tampo. And then also, I have this one from Anna. So Anna, at the letter of Ejumako, gets the DA Basic School at Ejumako in the Central Region. A member of the Ghana National Association of Teachers says that the transport problem was experienced when she came to participate in the NAT conference right here in Accra. And going back, she experienced same and wants that to be improved. Julia Hutchinson of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, you celebrate your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. And the Bolton Benjamin says it's sad to see these transportation challenges across the country. And I think it will be a wake-up call for our state transport agencies like Metro Mass SCC to advance their capacity. And then Newday Gatukwekwe, he lives around Amasama Mpokwasi area.
That would be tough.
Yes, so he's a major experienced person when it comes to this. Please tell Beatrice that I admire her energy. With public transport, the government should look into the Ayalolo buses again and revamp them. They overload passengers too much and bring more into the system and manage them well. We're tired of the indiscipline of the trotro drivers. New Dignia to Kwekwe. More messages coming. Sherry Giovanni. All right, so we're already live from the 37
Medina.
Okay, Medina Lorry Station, and Christian Yale is there. So these are the scenes we're having. Early morning commuters or passengers in queues waiting to have their turns to take public transport. And Sherry Giovanni says it's as if all the trotro drivers have had a national meeting on this development and strategy. Sherry Giovanni has pinpointed the issue. You will see passengers waiting for vehicles, and you will see commercial vehicles moving about without passengers. In the evening, someone will come to you, the passenger, that he's going to plead with the drivers on your behalf, but the driver wants to charge a particular fare to be able to ferry you or carry you to your destination. Government must do something and do something good. It says good morning to Daniel in Chupo. Oh, we have to go to Christian Yale now.
All right, and so Roland and team, we are coming to you live from Medina, Zongo Junction, and it's a busy morning here because it's just about some 5 minutes after 7 a.m. Very soon it will get to 8 a.m. when official work would begin for a lot of people who work in corporate offices and the rest. But you see hundreds of people who have lined up here in different queues. There are some who are going to Accra, and so this particular queue that you see, they are going to Accra, and fortunately for them, in at least every 5 minutes, they get vehicles coming to park to convey them to their various destinations in Accra Central. I'll take you shortly down further where you get to see other queues of people commuting to Kwame Nkrumah Circle, as well as other areas like La Paz and other communities, adjoining communities over that stretch. But this is one that speaks largely about how effective or not our public transportation system is. Roland, Beatrice, and Tim, you would know, and as viewers would know, over the years, we've had several interventions. In fact, you can talk about the period of former President John Agyekum Kufuor, who introduced this system about Metro Mass to bring in a lot of those buses that would ensure that commuters get timely vehicles to get to their various workplaces and even after work as well. Now, in the first term of John Mahama, he brought what you call the bus rapid transit system, which brought in a lot of the Ayalolo buses so that, and in fact, as part of that measure, they were going to construct special lanes that would be used by these Ayalolo buses so that commuting along these busy corridors like Accra Medina, Accra Tema Motorway, Accra Kaswa, and whatnot, the Amasaman stretch would get to be very fast or swift. Now that could not materialize or work enough. And so today, when you go to a place like the Achimota News Station, a lot of the Ayalolo buses are parked there and are rusting away. Now, in the course of the last administration, through the Vice President and the digitalization agenda, there were a lot of, or some electric vehicles or buses that were even procured or brought into the country. In fact, as part of that, Roland, you would recall that they even introduced this form of access, and so the digitized access into the buses, such that once you have a card, you can easily slot it in or enter some codes and you get into these buses. But all of those over the years have not given what we need, and this is the effect. This place, Medina Zongo Junction, almost every morning, right from 6:30 a.m., you get a lot of people who come to mass up here in queues, waste precious hours before they get vehicles to get to their various destinations. And when this happens like this, you realize that it brings about serious heavy or vehicular traffic along the Legon Shiashi stretch, and it's very serious. Even on our way here, we realized that traffic was already building up along that stretch. But let me take you down so that we get to see how things look like here, about the number of people who are still lined up here. And when you look at this side, for instance, Roland, you see that there are a lot of people, a lot of workers, those who work in corporate offices, those who do other businesses and need to get to their offices in time, who are all lined up here. And so this is the main road, this is the main stretch. You see a lot of vehicles passing, but very few of them are public transport for some of these people who need to get to their offices in time. Let's move down a little to see how really troubling it is for most of these workers, for most of these Ghanaians, for most of these commuters who have to go through this struggle on a daily basis, who have to go through this, stress even before you get to work, even before you begin official work in the offices. So this is one of the electric buses that, were procured or brought. We understand that government is still working to bring a lot of them or get a lot of them coming through. This just arrived. This is the car that has just arrived. And you realize that mostly when it happens like this, because of those who call themselves bus conductors or regulators or whatever they are called here, they ensure that very few get into them, especially when they do not get to operate with them or they do not have that kind of accord with them. I will speak to some of those ones very shortly. But let me try to see if I can get, and these are school children or students who should have been on their way to school right now. Eja, you about TV3, so where are you heading to?
Accra.
Accra, for how long have you been here?
1.5 hours. 1.5 hour.
1.5 hour you've been standing here to get a car?
Yeah.
How troubled are you right now? Because you are going to work and you waste precious hours here before you get to work. So beju adwum kra no abreda da.
Sape. Ebedu jana abre.
Then na onya yanka ban beye afasa situation we.
Ba ko ne say aban fama car onto aban buses engum. Sansa individual cars no omudru ha aha no so no sky a ye je won no edoso enti no na omudru ha na drivers na ya on pese on be gina afei nso no wobɛhu sɛ cars no duru ha na ɔmofa passengers na wɔn gye sika no ma no boro fɛ na ɛsɛ sɛ wɔn gye no ɛso nso yɛnto petrol mu yɛ eti ɛha adwemfo apɛ yie wɔ ha.
In fact, Roland, that is a very concerning matter, talking about how some of these drivers get to exploit the passengers. But one thing that he wants government to do possibly is to bring a lot of the buses, which is something that the transport minister has indicated that they are so in talks with management of Metro Mass to ensure that a lot of their buses are brought in town. But this is the situation. So now everyone tries to find a space inside this vehicle, and very few get that opportunity. And when it gets like this, or it happens like this, the drivers and their mates also show their level, because they want to tell the passengers that they are on top. It is them that are ruling, and so they don't give you much time. And you see there are a lot of spaces in this bus or in this car, but it is probably not heading towards Accra. And so you realize that a lot of those who are going to Accra who are here wouldn't get a chance. And so people have to run in this fashion so that they are able to secure a spot, or they're able to secure a space in the buses. That is the real story. That is the real situation. That is what we are talking about. How troubling our public transport system has been over the period, has been over the years, and how successive governments have not been able to deal with this situation. See, there are students here who are so worried, who look so frustrated. I want to speak to you. You are going to school, and you have had to come to stand here, be here. You have to be, what time should it be in school?
7:30.
7:30. And my time tells me it's 7:14.
Yes, please.
And there is no hope that you are going to get a car anytime soon. When you get to school late, are you punished?
Yes, please.
What kind of punishment do you receive when you get to school late?
We weed. They give us a plot of land to weed.
They give you a plot of land to weed. When somewhere do you have a strong palm that helps you to? So you get to suffer in the process of weeding and all of that.
Yes, please.
This is an uncomfortable situation for you. What do you want government to do as a student who has to go through this on a daily basis?
They have to bring more buses, the electric buses, so that we can get to school early on time and have a good lesson.
They need to bring more buses so that we can get to school early on time. Roland, let me still take you through a lot of this. Yenyaka, I hear this madam tell me that Yenyaka, let me hear her vent her spleen and her frustration. Debbie, I'll go through sa amani way and so when you
sometimes we're going to town, you won't get car early. You stand there maybe around 11, 12 before you get a vehicle to Accra.
Around 11, you come here in the morning early like this, and you have to be here till 11.
You get it early. It's not always that you get it early. Yeah. So we are suffering. The government have to help us with the bus.
Where are you particularly heading to this morning?
Okay, I'm going to Church 7. Yes.
It means that you need a car moving to Accra or Circle.
Anyone that I get, I will take.
Anyone that you get?
Yes, please. Either Accra or Circle. Then our lights are Church 7. Yeah.
You are losing precious hours standing here. What do you want government to do particularly about this?
It should help us, at least to get us some buses that will be going rounds. So if we are going out, that buses can help us. That is the only thing that we want.
Thank you so much. So there you have it. She wants government to intervene. She wants government to do something as urgently as possible about this. But let me take you to this side of the road, and you realize that there are still a lot more of queues here, and most of these people are heading to the La Paz area. Some of them are heading towards Enya, Sotio, and what have you. So you realize that under this footbridge, there are hundreds of people, scores of them, that have still been here for quite a long time. And for many of these, if I should ask them, you would realize that they've been here for an hour, no less than an hour, all in a bid or in an attempt to get a vehicle to get to their destinations. And looking at this time, most of them are going to work. And that is the real frustration. That's the real story about how bad our public transport system has been over the years. So all these are individuals losing precious hours, working hours here under traffic, and it's not even a traffic, so to speak, but in long queues, endless frustrations over the period. Senior, good morning. You are live on TV3. For how long have you been here?
Well, I've been here for about 20 minutes now.
For about 20 minutes now. Yeah. What are you for?
I'm going to Cantonment. Cantonment, yeah. Yeah.
To work, obviously.
Yeah.
How troubled are you on a daily basis that you have to come to be here in this long queues to get a ride or car to get to your workplace?
Well, it's very serious because we do this in the morning. You wake up very early in the morning to go to work. You close very early, late, and then you have to come and struggle again for about 2-3 hours before you get home. It's very hectic. I think the government should help us do something about it.
The transport minister told me yesterday that they are working with Metro Mass to bring a lot of buses onto the street. They started something during the Christmas New Year period that they brought a lot of the buses, at least eight of them, Accra Medina, Accra Nsawampo Kwase, Accra Kasua. Do you think that intervention would help? Also because we know that a lot of the trot drivers overcharge you guys.
Yeah, I heard the minister announce that there were about 8 buses to all the routes, but I did not feel it.
That was during the Christmas period?
Yes, I did not see anything of that sort. I live at Dodowa. All the time we commute all the way from Dodowa to here. I heard about 8 buses to Dodowa and all that. I did not see anything of that sort. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So there you have it. He even is saying that even the first intervention that was announced by the minister during the festive period to deploy a lot of the buses onto the major or the busy corridors, he did not get to feel the impact of that, and so that has been the situation. You still see a lot of students who are still locked up in this long queue. There is even no end in sight. That is the right term I want to use. No end in sight, by way of not even being sure of how soon or possibly you're going to get a car to arrive here. Students, how worried are you that almost every morning you come here, you queue, you stand here for longer hours or minutes before you get a car to your school?
So please, we are used to it now. So we don't know, we always come here and stand here to get cars, so we are just used to it.
See, interestingly, he tells me that they are used to it, which is not far from the truth, because this has been the case over the years. When you arrive in school late, are you punished?
Yeah.
What punishment?
Sometimes we are told to go and weed or go and clear the rubbish dump.
Sometimes you are told to go to weed or clear rubbish. Senior, maybe just some few words from you as well. Where are you headed to this morning?
I'm going to Osu.
You're going to Osu?
Yeah.
For how long have you been here?
Almost 30 minutes now. 30 minutes now.
30 minutes now. You go through this almost every day?
No, so I don't mostly use this, but then today I missed an opportunity to use another ride, so I decided to join the queue from here. So I'm even new to this kind of queue from here.
Thank you. So that is the situation. Let me give you a final snapshot of how it is looking along this busy corridor this morning. When you get here and you realize that there are still more people who are massing up here, there are still more people who are ending up in these long queues, there are still more people who do not know what time they get to leave this site, this particular spot, to get to their various destinations. But just in wrapping up, let me just give you a better view of this and how it looks like. But quickly, a lot of you guys, senior, minim se mona debiano, moshe se trotro for no ba, mobema amanfonya ka atena na akọ adwuma. But you are complaining bebre se monso eya na mo ha adwen dodo.
Yeah, hard dream.
Yeah, na mo di nua ehwehwe cars ni mu ni ade na mo move ni ade.
Enya no kura wan so ba obi a no kitadua.
Se bia afi na mo asesa.
No, yeah.
Person na mo nyesa.
Enya sa na eti kura no.
Ba me hu bi da o.
Oh,
na me te ha o.
Oh, e bia na enya yen time we. Okay. When why? E bia na ye emre foforo ba ye ndie yetimi kese di edua ebebo kamu apam no passengers na womunti na yewa won see the etinu
He says they are here for the passengers, and all of this speaks to the fact that we need a better regulation. Right now, the transport system, especially the public transport system, is largely dominated by the private sector. One that you say that is largely not controlled. And so who get to regulate the fares? Who get to regulate how often we get cars moving on our roads? GPRTU, GRTCC, and related agencies or organizations or bodies have been making efforts over the period to sanitize our road transport system, but this challenge needs resolve. This challenge needs urgent address. See people lined up here, still waiting. Precious hours, minutes, a lot of them, before they get rides to get to their various destinations. This is not a story that Ghana wants to tell at this moment. I am Christian Yale with my camera, John Ninepence. We have been coming to you live from Medina, Zongo Junction. Back to you in studios, Roland and Beatrice.
Christian Yali, fantastic job there, of course, with Ninepence. Thank you very much for bringing us all those details. And really, the real challenge people are facing trying to get vehicles either to school or to work or to wherever place they need to go to for their engagement during the day. And of course, you can trust us that we'll bring you some more until we are able to see at least a plan towards dealing with the problem and the solution that all of us are looking for. But a number of you have sent us your messages as well. Aziz Donlawa says, GPRTU is a toothless organization. Hence, the officials pretend not to see the reduction at the pump. We demand reduction at the Transport Department of Ghana. Kindly send my regards to Honorable Rashid Tanko. Aziz Donla, thank you for your message. Also from Mr. Steven Penwa as well. He says, good morning, Beatrice and Papa Ro. The 8 years of neglect of public transport system by the previous government has compounded the problem in major cities. Inshallah, JDM will surely reset the system, and by close of this year, the problem will be resolved with the advanced arrangement in place to procure buses from Egypt. There's also a message from Mr. Simon Yen Wa as well. Shout out to all the Wa people. Good morning, Beatrice. Our major problem here in Upper West is not the availability of vehicles. Our problem rather borders on the condition of the vehicles. The bigger vehicles are okay, rather the minibuses are so wretched and pose a serious danger to passengers. The MTTD should be proactive, especially on the roadworthiness of vehicles. And that's coming from Simon Yang in Wa. Let me read this last message coming from Ben. I said, I wish the transportation wahala in the cap. Okay, so he's also talking about the situation in the capital city. But as you've learned, this seems to be across the country as well, of course, with a lot of pressure in Accra. Roland, one more.
Well, so I have a couple of messages, and this one is coming from Kujose, who says that the media is creating a certain beehive of activity of a transport crisis, whilst we have pockets of incident of shortages of vehicles to commute or transport passengers. We should make sure we don't create an artificial crisis so that it becomes a problem. However, what is important is that since the introduction of the mass transit system by the Kufuor administration, we have not been able to scale this up to ensure that we have an efficient urban transport system. Perhaps this level of reporting, as well as the responses from passengers, will enable government do something urgently about public transportation. Elsewhere in the world, it is used to improve the situation and livelihoods of citizens on some subsidy, and then also enhance easy access to areas. We should also think about rail transportation, you say. Yeah.
Because people say that if we had been able to build the other parts of transport system in Ghana, it would have been easier. I mean, the rail and the public buses in addition to the GPRTU? Well, there's a world-class university right here in Ghana, and that's Rosebank International University, a strong South African university, and a brand of the ADV Group, Africa's largest private education provider, with 146 schools across 5 African countries and over 100,000 learners, and partly owned by the World Bank through the IFC. Rosebank International University is fully accredited by the South African Qualifications Authority, the British Accreditation Council, GTEC in Ghana, City Guild UK, and Capsicum Culinary Studio. At Rosebank International University, we offer a Doctor of Business Administration, MBA, Master of Science and Master of Philosophy in Digital Marketing, Bachelor of Supply Chain Management, targeting professionals in freight forwarding, customs, and many more. We offer hospitality and culinary arts, available at diploma, undergraduate, and postgraduate levels. Our ICT has BSc Information Technology and Business Systems and IT Computer Application Development, all carefully designed to equip you with the skills and qualifications needed for a successful global career. Our mission is simple: inspiring excellence. Admissions are now open for January 2026. You can visit our modern campus at Airport Commercial or Perbia House, Accra, or apply online at www.riuc.edu.gh. Rosebank International University, building global citizens. And you're still here on Newday on TV3. When we come back, we will bring you the big issue. But before that, remember that you can always get your favorite granola bar, and it is filling, it is nutritious, and it is healthy. So you want to grab a box today. I won't even say one bar. Just get a box, and it's a great snack for you, morning, afternoon, or any time of the day. Stay with us. We're back with the big issue and some more. Now, new books have come out without that very statement that seem to have breached the moral standards or culture of the country. A number of experts are still criticizing NACA for even allowing that to happen before that correction. But beyond that conversation, we also want to look into what kind of education do we need to give our children just so that whatever it is they're learning reflects the moral and other values of the country, of course, towards development as well. So my name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, we have our regular panel here. I do have on the panel with me Hajia Gloria Menu, National Women's Organizer, United Party. Good morning. Thank you once again for joining us.
Good morning. Looking beautiful this morning.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. Of course, I also do have with us Madam Rodelyn Imorayana, Public Interest Advocate. Ma'am, it's always great to have you here. Good morning.
It's always good to be here. Good morning.
You're welcome. And of course, Madam Shamima Muslim as well, Deputy Government Spokesperson. It's great to have you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, indeed. And Happy New Year to my sister. My first time of seeing her.
Okay, this year. Okay.
Yes, the last time I saw her was last year.
Oh,
you know,
that's nice.
Both my two sisters and yourself. So Happy New Year to you too and to the people of Ghana. In fact, this is my first appearance on television or
this year.
So
wow, we're already 15 days.
Indeed, yes. I took some time off.
Okay.
So I'm actually returning to work today.
That's wonderful.
It's a double banger.
That's great. You're welcome once again.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Yes, so perhaps I should start with you, Madam Ayana. And like I said, since morning, we've really heard a lot of, okay, I would perhaps start with you. Since it's your first day at work in 2025, Madam Shamima Muslim, I mean, since morning, we've been talking about the challenge of our transport system. In fact, we started last night where a number of people are struggling to get buses because apparently members of the GPRTU are deciding to move at a particular time so they can charge the amounts that they want to charge. This morning is where we've heard the frustrations of both workers and students. What do you know about this?
Well, good morning. And as I indicated earlier, just to take a few minutes, because this is really my first engagement with the public this year, to communicate a number of things on behalf of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, the Vice President, Professor Jane Nano Pokuajiman, and of course the First Lady, Madam Lordina Mahama, and to say Happy New Year to you, my dear bosses, as well as my immediate boss, the Honorable Felix Kwachi Ofosu, who I'll be seeing immediately after here. But just again on behalf of President John Dramani Mahama, say thank you to the people of Ghana for keeping faith with him. I know many of you listened to his New Year message and also his message on the commemoration of his 1 year in office, a year that has been most challenging but most beneficial and most rewarding to all who have had the privilege to walk beside President John Dramani Mahama as he executes his resetting Ghana agenda. As I monitored the media recently, I came across some commentary questioning what perhaps is the different thing this government has done to achieve the results that we are all very happy about. Not out of the woods yet, nobody has said that, but significant progress all within a year's work. And for those who ask that we have done nothing other than building on the foundation of those who were before us, the question is, and the answer to that question, I see many Ghanaians have answered, the elements within the opposition who have raised those issues. The question and the difference is leadership. And we all agree that leadership is cause and everything else is effect. So the difference between what we have experienced yesterday and what we are experiencing under President Mahama is leadership. A leadership of humility and humanity. A leadership that listens, that concedes. A leadership that has not been afraid to confront difficult challenges. A leadership that's been able to inspire the citizens and rally them around agreeing to some difficult, decisions so we can move ourselves out of the woods. That is the difference. And because of that leadership, the effect today is that you and I can breathe and exhale a bit more easily. You and I have seen stability, and stability is good for business. Today at the pumps, fuel is selling for 10 to 11 cedis. Those are the effects of the difference in leadership that we have experienced under President John Dramani Mahama.
And in the midst of this, people are having...
And we thank, the people of Ghana for that. Of course, my dear sister, it will be preposterous to expect that a country that has gone through such amount of difficulty over the past 8 years would use 1 year to solve all of our problems. It will be a very ludicrous thought, as our opponents are wont to throw into. And we say that the leadership of President Mahama is not one that runs away from challenges. You would agree that during the festive season, when private, transport owners began to extort, literally, from passengers, government came in amidst calling on GPRTU and private transport operators to be more ethical in their approach, especially during those seasons. They also came and ensured that STC released a number of buses to ease the hardships of Ghanaians. At the heart of this government is always being proactive and responsive, but also being long-term in vision. So if you ask me, for us, this conversation goes beyond the visuals you have showed us this morning from areas that have, for historical purposes, experienced those challenges.
So that was Medina.
The bigger problem.
But we had people calling from other parts of the country.
I'm saying that this is not new. The media has a way of amplifying existing situations. You and I, as we drive around every day, we see passengers on the streets looking for cars. And schools have reopened, so the volumes of movement have also increased. The problem is bigger than its manifestation in these, obviously distressing scenarios. And I'll come again to speak about the NDC government under President Mahama's bigger vision for our infrastructure development.
And so you're going to the fundamentals of this problem, which is why there's a need for investment.
Without it, we would just firefight. We would come with temporary interventions to ease the problem. But the real problem has to do with our infrastructure deficit. If you recall last year, President Mahama launched the Ghana Infrastructure Plan, a 30-year plan to take a deep dive into the deficit, the infrastructure deficit across board. It's not only transport, it's also about planning, urban planning, rural, transport movement, the interlinkages, linking even transportation networks to productive sectors that would make those investments reap the necessary benefits. So the Ghana Infrastructure Plan is President Mahama's response to these perennial problems that we see on a daily basis. What does the plan, hope to do? If you listen to the speech of Dr. Nimoy Thompson, he says development is about history. And we must understand our history to be able to understand where we are. In 1965 or thereabout, President Nkrumah, the first president in Africa to have come out with an infrastructure plan, a physical planning plan in 1965, alongside his 7-year development plan, to ensure that we actually planned our physical spaces.
But obviously it's not being followed through.
No country, sweetheart. So that's why we are having this conversation, is it not? It is because we don't follow through our plans and programs that you and I are having this conversation. And so when President Mahama speaks about resetting and bringing back, because look, the 40-year development plan of the NDPC was done under President Mahama Chapter 1. Many people ridiculed it, and this is where we throw the challenge to the media. Because if the media follows the trajectory of other countries and how they were able to lift themselves out of their underdevelopment within 40 years, we mentioned China, we mentioned Singapore, without planning, no country can achieve the levels of development we have seen other countries. So sometimes when these matters come, instead of ridiculing it, we also have the burden to educate the general public that without long-term planning and holding leaders to account, we have put the NDPC there. We pay all of these brilliant civil and public servants, brilliant servants who have worked in other jurisdictions. They come out with these plans and then party manifestos override them. And so President Mahama has committed to operationalizing this latest Ghana infrastructure plan.
So let me come in here. You talk
and
about,
he's even started, yes.
He's even started. There was a reason I said that the Nkrumah plan was not followed through, because there could be...
Because there was a coup.
Yes, and of course, over the years, there have been plans that, you know, we've had, even the Constitution Review Committee's work. It wasn't the first time that we're seeing such work being done. So we have plans and we don't follow through. The reason I said that was because we may have a big infrastructure plan, like the president launched. Where is the starting point? Because they say the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. So where is the starting point that will lead to that long-term fulfillment of an entire infrastructure change in the transport system?
Commitments to budget allocation. The $10 billion Big Push project is one of the levers of the infrastructure plan. That if we invest in our road infrastructure, if we invest in light railways so we can diversify transportation routes, if we invest even in aviation, and that's why there has been a special committee set up to look into the prospects of bringing back a national airline. But the road infrastructure is one of the key reasons, and public participation effectively in public transport, because we refer to it as public transport. In many areas and other countries that have effective transportation system, there's a heavy hand of government. Even though there is private participation, it is made possible. China, it is publicly funded. Their public transport system is publicly funded. Some people say that it's not even self-financing, but the government puts in a lot of money in it. So government needs to set up the policies, and we have heard the plans from the Transport Ministry, from the Roads Ministry. As you know, last year, a lot of sword cuttings had happened, and across many regions, there are road projects that are happening. If you come specifically to the Transport Ministry, it is interlinked with roads. Good road networks would make transportation businesses more viable for private sector to participate. And the digitalization and tolling of roads is also supposed to generate, resources that should directly go into maintaining these roads and also promoting the purchasing of, private transport. So in as much as we would apologize for these inconveniences, the conversation must go back into publicly educating the general public about these plans, what the sacrifices would be, and what the areas of collaboration must be, so that we implement the Ghana infrastructure plan, which requires huge amounts of capital. But without it, we will have these conversations even 10, 20 years from now.
And I'll come back to you to get a bit more specifics into these
on the investments we are making.
But let me get your thoughts as well, Hajia Amenu, really what you believe the challenges and why we've had to endure this for a long time without any seeming plan, as it were, to deal with it.
Okay, so good morning to our viewers. Good morning to United Party members. Honorable Chief Alan Kujo Chairman, and everybody. Thank you so much. Shamima has put a very large picture, showed a very large picture on the issue, and I was happy about it. But until then, we are still struggling on our streets, looking for vehicles up and down. So if you see, the whole picture is focused on our streets, the roads, the private sector as well, because even the vehicles we have on our streets are so bad that our policemen sometimes even look just unconcerned. Some vehicles really are not supposed to even be on our roads. So this issue is something that we should look at now. The 30 years plan, waiting for finance and everything will at least take some time. Let's focus on the things that we have now, looking up to the GPRTU being responsible, checking these vehicles that are on our roads, checking their members, so that they will not even charge the people who take the buses. Okay, so all these things, Ghanaians have also to be responsible. I always say that our mindset should, at least, we all have to look at our mindset and behavioral change. The way we treat our colleagues, members, is also a matter of concern. If you are looking at you being a trotro driver or somebody in the GPRTU who wants to use your platform to cheat somebody. We were watching this morning when I realized that some guy was saying there was even pickpocketing in the station.
Somebody said he lost his phone.
Meanwhile, even when you get to Kaneshi Market, the lorry station, there is a police station right there. But all these things are surrounded in such a way that we are all not comfortable in our... You wake up at dawn as early as 3 a.m. and there are huge queues. Some drivers decide just to... 3 a.m.
Where?
Kaneshi Market, Takoradi, especially when the schools are reopened. When I was taking my daughter to school last week, from Monday, there was huge queues at the VIP bus lorry station. So immediately we know that schools are being reopened, people are starting work, especially from the long break of New Year. People were rushing to their various workplaces, schools were reopened and all that. And the stress on transportation was so huge. There has to be structures that we know this time there will be huge transport issues when even schools are vacating. So we also have a lot to play as individuals. We shouldn't just always wait for the president, the 30 years plan, the finance to come in, when we can even take care of our own private sector.
Do I hear you say that stakeholders in the sector perhaps have not planned and they don't plan, and so things just happen and everybody is overwhelmed?
Exactly. So especially, I'm targeting the GPTRT or the private sector. All these small groups can also help in maintaining law in their own spaces. So this is the transport fare. Whoever overcharges will be called to account for, and they should also put their ears on the grounds. You even go complain about your luggage being missing. They look and say, we don't even know the car number. Even if you took tickets from there, they sometimes tell you they don't know and all that. So we should all come together and work hand in hand. Yes, some of the vehicles come in, especially, I always target this 207 cars. Sometimes they are even not cars that have to take passengers. They are sometimes designed to take luggages, boxes and all that. But you see them part of these associations and they accept them.
But the MTCD is supposed to also be checking as well. Sometimes you're on the road and you can tell that vehicles have not been to the workshop for a long time because of the smoke coming from those vehicles.
Not even the smoke, just the seat. For me, I'm a trotro person. I always, last time I said it here, I usually take trotro from Botiano Hills, Mile 11. We use, almost all of us use the Tata bus from Mile 11 down to Kaneshi Market. And if you see the state of one Tata bus coming down from the hill, My dear, it's very, very, very bad. The state, but they all plow all these roads down to Kaneshi through a lot of police stops from the road. So we all have to take this as our own responsibilities. Yes, it's not just looking at the officials, government officials to take things in their own hands, but as ourselves, we have roles to play. If your car is in a bad state, at least go and fix it before it comes back to the road. You realize that somebody has parked the vehicle for a long time, waited for people to come in the vehicle before getting to a fuel station to go and fill the tank. Or, I have to go and fix the tire. So all these things, you knew that you were coming to start work in the morning. Why wait for people to even come on board to risk their lives before you take the necessary action?
Madam Ayana, we heard Madam Shamima Muslim talking about the foundational issues that we've had as a country, the infrastructural issues, years of abandonment, and finding ourselves in this situation. Where do you stand on the genesis of this problem and what we need to do to deal with it?
Good morning to our cherished viewers, and good morning to all of us here. You know, I ask myself, do we really have lorry stations? You know, do we have lorry stations? Because lorry stations just come about when 1, 2, 3 buses come and park, and then before long, other buses, other cars, and then it becomes a lorry station. The lorry station, the 37 lorry station, just opposite, just around the hospital area, hospital. The 37 military hospital. It used to be the Workers' Brigade camp. Yeah? It wasn't a lorry station. And then somehow, one day, it just became a lorry station. A lorry station with not enough space for cars to park. Lorry station, no toilets. Lorry station, no resting place for anybody. A lorry station, these are not lorry stations. If we're going to start talking about transportation, let's do it right. Let's get lorry stations, well demarcated areas meant for cars to park, lorry stations, buses. Growing up, you would go to Opera Square, and we've gone back so many years, it's so painful. This was just, we were not many, population. We can just say that population increases, but then it also tells us how bad we have been. We've not been able to keep up with planning. So you would get to Opera Square in those days, and you had westbound, eastbound, northbound. I know that bus 21 is taking me from Accra Central to Medina. So I will join bus 21 and come and stop at 37 and walk to my house. Are you getting me? And I know that if I get to the bus station at about 6:30 a.m., it's going to be taking school children, workers, blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing. It would have started off about 5 o'clock, 4:30, taking market women.
Yes.
So organized. You understand? So I will never be late for school. Workers in the ministry will also not be late to go to the workplaces. But here we are, children, school children, market women, everybody hustling for the same. And then we have these small buses, 24, can carry maybe just 24, 36 maximum. What are we doing? Governments have tried. We tried Ayalolo, what and what. It is not helping. Transportation in this country is private driven. And so the private man might not have that much money to look for bigger coaches, you know, and larger ones or more modified and nice ones. They will just go for what they can get. And most of the time, you find tattered buses on our roads. I think that, one, we have an increase in population. That's number one. In Accra, for instance, if you're talking about Accra, and in fact, almost all the major cities in this country, there's population growth. And we have not planned for that. A lot of people working in Central Accra or coming to shop in Central Accra are coming from other areas beyond the greater Accra. So Kaswa, you're coming from Sowutu, you're coming from Weja, you're coming actually even from Gomoa to work. Some are coming from Kofridria to Accra to come and work. How is that possible? What time do they take off? It's something that we have to sit down and plan. Government needs to put in more buses, more buses. And I would suggest that probably we have to do it the district assembly way. Every district must have its own pool of buses and also map out its routes so that we will all get to know that when you are living in Adenta, you can go to a transport yard or a transport station at Adenta this side, join a bus and it's taking you to Accra, or it's going towards Kaswa, or it's going somewhere. Let the district assemblies probably have a transport wing to do that so that we take it off central government completely. This whole idea of Ministry of Transport, just sitting there, one person at the ministries, although there are other technocrats working around it, but when the trouble comes, we are all walking around looking for the minister. And the minister is not going to be able to do much because the job is on the ground. Beatrice, go around this country and you'll find buses, looking very nice, very new, packed. Why? If you really delve into the issue, some of them, they don't have batteries. Some of them for lack of tires. Some of them for very petty mechanical faults. But because it's for government, people don't even look at it. They feel like, leave it, then they order for a new car, a new bus. They're asking for a new bus. Why? Don't we have groups of people that are responsible to making sure that every morning these buses are checked, that they go to the workshop? Because when you go to the state transport yard, it's there. They're even taught defensive driving. Then they have mechanics to look at the buses and everything. Do you have the same in GPRTU parks? You don't. They just come with a bus. Whether the brakes are working, whether they've changed oil,
the quality of drivers.
Quality of drivers. Can you just imagine? Some of them don't even have their bath. And they don't have their, and they are driving. Yeah. You sit in a bus and you can't even breathe. Now, GPRTU is a commercial drivers wing of the TUC. So it's a big organization. And I think that they are failing government. I think they are failing government. Because you see, you have to get grip of drivers, commercial drivers. These are things that you must be able to let your drivers or your people know.
Would you say that they are overwhelmed?
Of course they are overwhelmed. They are overwhelmed because they have not structured their whole business. So you have Concerned Drivers Association, Progressive Drivers Association, blah, 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 and then freelancers, those that don't have anywhere. And so they park anywhere. That also creates the traffic. You just find people parking along the roads. And it also creates traffic. You understand? Taxi drivers who are supposed to be freelancing, they go doing that. Okay, so we introduced a taxi ranking system. Where are the taxi ranks? Where are the taxi ranks? People just go and decide to start off a taxi rank anywhere. I can start off a taxi rank in front of my house. Are you getting me? So I think that government has to really get some technical advice on the way forward.
Madam Shamima Muslim, you're in government. The challenge is that GPRTU is not doing what is expected to do. Even when it comes to transport fares, fuel prices reduce, members will not reduce it. We've heard GPRTU officials backing members saying that, yes, they need to buy car parts, which prices have not reduced. What new strategy would you say that the government perhaps should be looking at to ensure that in as much as the government is playing its role in bringing buses, like Madam Mayana is saying, GPRTU and other private agencies are also responsible and are towing the lines that would help Ghanaians?
Well, I think that we can't just place the entire blame at the doorstep of GPRTU. I mean, to be fair, because the problem is so complex and intertwined, it requires a multi-agency, multi-institutional approach to deal with. There are intersectorial linkages that we have to, understand and incorporate with. Whilst we understand that sometimes, private institutions can most often be more profit-seeking than the public interest. But in all things, it is a government that must execute how it wants its country to look and feel. And so the institutions mandated with oversight responsibilities over, these sectors have a role to play. If you look at the NDC manifesto, we have a vision of how our public transport system should look and feel like. That's the broad vision. It must be neat, it must be disciplined. So the challenge is with the enforcement of these things, sitting around with stakeholders and agreeing that drivers require regular orientation, that even how you look and smell can be grounds to, suspend your membership of an association. I always throw a challenge at our leaders, because if you are not in a position to transform anything, don't present yourself for a leadership position. Especially when many of our leaders, have traveled far and wide and have seen how efficient some systems are. And people go to other places and say that even the taxis that you sit in, very neat. It does not have to take President John Mahama to come and tell you, an owner of a vehicle, to keep your vehicle clean. It doesn't have to take the president. But if it has to take the president, then let the president's men work with the agencies and institutions like GPRTU to continuously orientate their drivers. You see, you don't have to be rich to take care of the little you have. And it all comes with the mindset and our own interest in keeping things nice and neat. And so that's one of the things that I would say, that it's a shared responsibility. We can't blame everybody. But if you look at the transport minister's response somewhere last year, he did announce that government was going to purchase a number of buses. And we even saw the deputy transport minister travel to somewhere in China and did see the bus. So first quarter this year, 2026, at least we are expecting 150 of the 500 buses for metro mass transport to hopefully ease the immediate, stress.
First quarter, you say. So by March or April, we should see
that
these
was what is announced, yes. And with regards to the financing, the commercial bank had been supportive in this. And these buses are smart buses, and monitoring would also be done to ensure good behavior within the buses. Rodaline, I watched videos of, it's not about the laughter. The point you had made about disaggregating transport use. There was early transport solely for market women and rural farmers who were coming into city centers with their goods solely for them. And those buses were recalibrated to provide platforms for them to put their goods, their vegetables, their plantains, whatever they were bringing from the farm centers within the hinterlands to the center. The buses were purely for them. There are also mixed-use buses, of course, because people would move at different speeds. But the plan is, how do we ensure that we roll out all of these, services to meet the needs of Ghanaians?
Let me ask you this very briefly before I come back to you, Hajia. Beyond procuring buses, which could be like, putting a plaster on a sore without really treating it because there are still structural problems. Beyond that, I know that when this government was sworn in, it was something you had promised. You did education, a consultation on that. You did on economy as well. Transport is a major thing, and you would attest to the fact that it's really nothing to write home about in terms of how it operates in Ghana. Do you have an idea whether the government intends to have such a broad conversation as well, just to holistically look at how to deal with this?
I think those engagements have already done. The plans are also there. So where we are now is with financing and rolling out. The engagements have been done. They've been long-term plans that have been reviewed. Lipe has spoken about it. As you even last year, we even have the preliminary report on the committee that was set to look at aviation. So all transport forms, including railways, which the big push is also supposed to do. And if you look at the Ghana Infrastructure Plan, you see, let's begin to talk about the plan. So when we know what's in the content of the plan, then we know what we are asking our ministers to deliver on. We are reminding them, and they are also communicating to us what progress they are achieving. But the plans are there. The financing is being sought. As you know, this year, last year, this year, we are stabilizing. And so investments are going to only critical areas so we can consolidate the gains. But even with that, what we are doing this year to spread the gains of the little gains we have made is to invest a lot in road infrastructure and hardcore transportation infrastructure to beef up the existing fleet of public transport. Meantime, let me just quickly add, the public-private partnership initiative under the auspices of the Ministry of Finance is already hard at work trying to invite private sector participation in critical sectors of the economy. Transportation is one such critical sector of the economy. Health is one, construction is one, energy is one. And in the coming months, we will begin to see the results of these partnerships. What we have learned, harsh lessons from the previous, times, is with the nature of the agreement. So this time we're ensuring that whatever agreement we are going into, though it has to be mutually beneficial, it is not going to shortchange Ghana at all.
Madam Ayana, I'll come back to you very shortly, but let me get the thought of Hajia Amenu as well. You were talking about the nature of vehicles and you emphasized on it. There are those who say that perhaps the MTTD may not be doing what it has to do because there are police officers who own these vehicles. I know certain police officers who own these vehicles as well. How do you think...
They're coming for you.
Yes, how do you think we should deal with that? Because then if my boss is owning that vehicle, I can't stop that vehicle when it hasn't been serviced or is looking bad.
Yes, so this is not so far from the truth. I've even witnessed on Akaswa Road once when our trotro driver was stopped and arrested. And he said, okay, I beg you, speak to my boss, the owner of the car, who happens to be a police officer. So you are not far from the truth. But then we should also remember that the cars or buses Hajia Shemima is talking about that are coming will also come back to the same stage where we'll park them because of lack of maintenance. I will also suggest that to help this DPRTU or members of DPRTU own cars, some of these buses which are sitting in the bushes and places because they lack maybe tires, batteries and stuff, can be given to these GPRTU members on a low rate, maybe auction them to them so that they can also own some of these buses. These Tata buses we are talking about from Kaswa, you have to really... I used to work at Prudential Osu, and I was staying at Kaswa, and I have to wake up as early as 3 to get the bus. Immediately it's 6 o'clock, no bus is coming. You have to find your own way. So if they are able to own some of these, and they make good money, they really make good money. You see, and some of them are also responsible. If government is able to get these cars sitting in the bushes, give it to them at low prices, and they are made responsible, I think it's going to go a long way. If we also have the railway. I was happy Shamima talked about railway. If we are able to implement this railway system, before when you are coming from Insawam, the food that was coming into Accra uses the railway from Tema. They were all on the roads. You see, and it was not making the stations or lorry stations so packed. Coming from Tema, early in the morning, you use the railway, and it was a little bit convenient. So I think we should also look at all these sectors. If we are able to help these drivers make them responsible. These, before I was thinking that they used to have uniforms, T-shirts, and before they used to have, all these unions had their own identity. Immediately you see, you know that this person is coming from Kaneshi Lorry Station or 37 or something. They used to have these Lacoste, and they were being monitored. I don't know what happened. So they should beef up. It's their responsibility to make sure that their members are being responsible.
Madam Ayana, what do you expect in terms of the immediate to medium-term plans that or steps the government needs to put in place in terms of the infrastructural bit? And also another bit that a number of people who do not use Chocho also talk about, the Ubers and the boats, the ride-hailing services also charging arbitrarily.
No, they are also the same. Chartered cars. They started off with air-conditioned cars, beautiful interior, you know, very polite drivers, and we don't have it again. Suddenly, they've also gone the same way. You enter a boat or an Uber and it's so dirty inside. Sometimes it stinks because they are eating in there. That's where they sleep. You understand? I mean, these are things that are happening, and we have to make sure that we get to the root of all these things and fish people out and punish people. Why should I board a car and come out with a ripped skirt or a ripped trouser? It's not right. But you enter a trottoir, if you're not careful, you come down with your skirt ripped. And yet, policemen are on the road. MTT are there. But you see, we need to improve our routes. It's good that government is doing that, improving the routes, which is really good. That should also help the transportation unions to at least have better cars. But then I think that it's about time we looked at assembling these buses like we had Willowbrook. Because if we're able to assemble these buses, we could have them, you know, tropicalized for our own uses. Smart buses, yes, nice, good. But is that what we really need? We brought the Ayalolos, they were smart buses, mass transit buses, but we didn't have the infrastructure on the ground for them to work. Somebody just sat one day and went and brought the buses, and then we now use them as regular buses. We are designing roads. Are we putting in bus routes? Have we thought about the bus routes and all that? And I also think that, just like Kwame Nkrumah did, you know, when you are dealing with a certain caliber of people, where their mindset is such that they are so, some of them can be so vindictive, you also have to go stubborn. You also have to go the extra mile to protect yourself. When we had State Transport Company of Ghana, we had the Citra buses. No other transport union was using a Citra bus. Mercedes, good quality, robust, to go anywhere. So that's how come everybody felt safe in the state transports. And not only that, it helped in the issue of pilfering or cannibalizing, stealing. Because if you stole a Citra part, there was no Citra out there for you to go and sell the part to. But today, the same ones that are being used by the private sector are almost the same ones that the state is also buying. So what happens is that when the private sector person's brake band is off, he goes to the other side and says, can you get, because that's a buying, can you get me this? You understand? So we have to look at that as well. Can we find a way of making sure that we have a monopoly on the buses that we are using for the states, so that we know that our buses are going to have maintenance units where they will be able to look after them, and then the private people are not going to come and cannibalize them or steal parts. And then the drivers, can we really, really look at the drivers that we have in this country? All the accidents that are happening on our roads, not only are the cars rickety, but it's because the drivers too are not well trained. Some of them, they don't even know how to check for little things. You understand? We have to look at all those things. At the end of the day, if we want to be safe on our roads, then it means we have to check the persons behind the steer. We have to look at the body of the vehicle, the engine, and the mindset of that person who is sitting behind the steer.
I've heard people say that some truck drivers say, have you heard that?
Yes.
The truck drivers. So you see them driving, trying to...
It used to be Wakrefie.
And there's something I want to add concerning what Madam Ayana was saying. It's very true, but we as passengers are also supposed to be responsible. I think that you see people always board vehicles, and that's when they sit and eat and leave litters in the cars. And these trotros will always go to the lorry parks and sweep them off and dump them right there.
I've seen somebody eat fufu and soup on a trotro.
Oh yes,
people eat fufu and soup on aircraft.
Yes, you cannot. You cannot eat and then in a taxi. You can't eat
in some countries.
In some countries,
in some countries where there's discipline.
Yes,
we need to discipline our
youth. Yes, I saw a driver who warned the passengers before the takeoff. So it's very, very important. Even the Ubers, we sit down in the Uber car. By the time the next ride, you watch the seat and you realize that somebody has eaten and left so much on the seat. So we are all supposed to.
When they started, it was not that way. We were made to know that.
So it's we the personalities. Sometimes the drivers.
It's the drivers.
Somebody is dropping. Somebody is picking. Somebody is coming in.
It's the person behind the wheel.
And I want us to go to the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment. Because yesterday the NACA had to, people were criticizing the institution over a portion of statements actually made within the teacher's handbook that went out, and a number of people raising concerns. I'll just read that portion to you, which brought this whole thing. And it's under sexual and reproductive health for the teachers. It's, like I said, teacher's handbook. And number 4 says gender identity. And this is how it defined it. It refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. It can include being male, female, or a blend of both. This concept goes beyond the binary notion of gender, into brackets, male and female, and recognizes the diversity of gender experience and expression. So this went out, and a number of people raised concerns. Of course, we had NACA issuing a statement yesterday saying that they had seen that and had corrected, and new ones had been printed. Yet critics are still raising concerns about why this was even allowed in the first place before NACA would come out. Let me get first to your preliminary thoughts on this whole thing, and then we'll go into the beyond this conversation, what kind of education we need to give our children to ensure that whatever it is they get in the classrooms reflects the cultural and moral values of our society. Perhaps I can start with you, Hajia.
Okay, so NACA coming out to even clear the waves is being suspicious to me. Because before NACA approves any textbook or teacher's guide, it goes through 8 strict processes. And all these processes, there are people who check these books before it even gets printed. So being so careless, for me to use that word, for the book to even be printed, there's a question mark somewhere. Because you can't, from the one who is writing to submission to clear, it goes through stages. So before it even got to the printing point, there is a big question mark there. So they should come out and really explain to us how it got printed in the first place. Yes, teachers always go through the textbooks, the lesson, the teacher's guide. But that is not what we should be clear for parents to be at ease. That is not what exactly or dito we used to teach the students.
You're a teacher yourself?
Yes, so I'm a teacher myself. So that's why I'm making it clear for parents to be at ease that we are also responsible teachers, that I'm a mother and a teacher, so I will not see that and will want to train my child or daughter or son exactly what I'm seeing there. And what we teachers at the back know for sure is that some of the textbooks, yes, it goes through NACA and assessment and all that, but there are certain funding somewhere. Those who are funding the printing or publications sometimes want certain things to be in those textbooks. So it's a whole issue on its own. We all know that teachers will not go and see that, and will want to let the children know that you can either be.
You're assuming that all teachers will not do that.
I know for a fact that we are also responsible as teachers, that we will not see that in the teacher's guide and come and tell or define gender identity to the kids in that direction. Yes, so parents should be at ease that most teachers and schools have their own teacher guides. And sometimes we even have subject meetings before we even come and train the kids. So yes, it's in the teacher's guide, but that is not exactly what...
Well, Naka is saying that has been cleared.
It's been cleared, yes. So it's been cleared, but then that should not repeat itself. 2019, there was a controversy about that, and it came and it was cleared. We shouldn't come to that stage again, where in the future we would have to come to address the same issue. That is what I'm talking about. So they should make sure that the processes that textbooks and teachers' guide go through before the final stage, it shouldn't repeat itself. They should make sure and assure Ghanaians, because in 2019 it happened, and now we are in 2026, it's happening again. They should come out and assure Ghanaians that it's not going to happen again.
A member of parliament says that because Naka failed, perhaps the bosses should resign or should be sacked.
Exactly.
You agree with that?
I'm agreeing, because that's what I'm saying is suspicious, that you can wait 8 solid stages, and the people, the stakeholders who go through assessment before a textbook is being released or published. It's not even being released before it's even being published. It goes through several stages and stakeholders, and people are being invited to assess before it's being published. So if they sit and be reluctant, and this comes out, and it was being published before, it's suspicious.
It's suspicious.
Very suspicious. So I think he should even come out and say, "Oh, I made a mistake and I'm resigning." In Ghana, it's rare to see somebody come out and admit that I made a mistake and resign. So,
Madam Ayana, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that the director or whoever he is apologized and said that it had been rectified, or it was going to be rectified. I quite remember the 2019 issue. It mostly had to do with our 5-year-olds being taught sexual things. And I think the whole country ganged up and decided that it was not the right thing to do for 5- and 6-year-olds to be taught sexual, reproductive, whatever. And we were told then by the same NACA that it was supposed to help them fight sexual harassment in the event that they came across it. I quite remember that at that time, no one was asked to resign. So I found it rather strange that the ranking member for Foreign Affairs would ask the guy to resign. Because if no one resigned at that time when it involved 5-year-olds, we shouldn't be so worried about teachers' manuals.
Are you implying hypocrisy on the part of whoever is
smelling a rat? You know, I just think people just want that. There's so much happening that people cannot handle, and suddenly they want to bring issues out. This LBTG, what is something that from last year, if you quite remember, maybe you were not privy to a situation where a gay couple were found kissing at the Black Star Square, just right in front of the Independence Arch. Yes, and by the time people could get to them, they had fled the country. These are all things. That's why I say I smell a rat. It's like some people want to bring back this issue because they think that there is something hidden. I don't think there's anything hidden. Ghana is not accepting these things, and that's it. I even don't want to talk about it because it's gone. 2024, it went to Parliament. It was not assented to by the President. I think they presented it again in 2025. The same thing happened. And now they still want to find it. Don't have it. Some people just don't have any messages. So now they are finding all kinds of things that they know pricks at us. We always don't want to. I mean, sexuality is something that Africans frown on. You know, our culture does not allow us to talk freely about sexuality. So when people decide not to have any messages and they decide to bring these things up for us to discuss, we must just nip it in the bud. You know, yes, a mistake was made. We have told them that it's not right. They have apologized. They are going to rectify it. Let them not repeat it again. That's the most important thing. Because you see, at the end of the day, if you look at what is happening now, yesterday, I think a student and 2 students of, I think, Bremen Senior High School or something were suspended or sacked from school for some things that they were doing. Yeah, some things they were doing. All these things are there for us to talk about. You understand? It's even, I mean, we should not make people want to experiment. The more we talk about these things, people go out to experiment. You understand? For a very long time, gayism was not something that we talked about. So it was there, subtle, anything, and everyone was cool. The moment we started talking about it, now we hear of people trying to experiment, just to know what it is that is making everybody talk about it. And it has gone. For some time, it's cooled off. We have tried to at least educate ourselves. We have tried to make sure that everybody understands where we stand. Let's not bring out, you know, these things from the cupboards anymore.
Madam Shamima Muslim, beyond this issue or scare of LGBTQ content in our books, as it were, the concern is also that we need to be able to ensure that the processes which help establish certain kind of curriculums for students really are rigorous enough, that they meet every moral and cultural standard. It's not just about the LGBTQ, but also even attitude, how we are raising these students. How do you expect these processes to function such that when a child is out of school, the child is a complete human being in terms of character and everything that needs and meets the cultural standards?
Well, it's but the child is also living and growing in the world beyond his space. So education is supposed to be holistic. Education is supposed to help you and ground you in your values, to the extent that when you are exposed to other values that are challenging to you, you are able to stand strong in, you know, your own foundational values. Education is not to pretend and play the ostrich in terms of the information and knowledge, you know, that you give to your children about how other people view the world, so that when they come into contact with people who view the world differently from them, they are able to articulate their position in a respectful and, you know, ethical manner. I think that ought to be, you know, one of the grounds for educating, and every country reserves the right to decide what they believe should constitute their national and cultural values, and how they want their children or the people or their citizens to think and behave and engage. So, and it's not an African problem. I mean, like him or hate him, Donald Trump, you know, America of all places, you know, that is both the heart of the LGBTQ advocacy, has a president today who says that there are only 2 sexes, male and female. You know, does it mean that the expressions of these other gender forms are not happening? They are happening, and people would come into conversations about them. They would come into information about how other people choose. And the fact of the matter is that our children are on the phones. They are on the phones, and they do see the expression of all of these various kinds.
So whether or not they are in the classrooms, they will still see anyway.
They will see it. they would engage at the level that they get access to them. Look, content, cartoon content are showing some of these things. And so we can insist that our books should have no conversations at all about this subject matter, but we must be able to ground our children that when they see some of these things, they know how to interface with them, because it's all around, even adults. You're on TikTok, pornography pops up. You're on Facebook, you see nudity everywhere. And so it is really the grounding in our strong religious values, if we teach them properly, and moral values that will protect our children. Because really right now, even adults are exposed, and adults are also suffering the similar challenges as young people. Adults are suffering addiction to devices. So it's not only a children's matter these days. Adults are experimenting just as children are experimenting. You know, my point has always been that an adult knows where they can go and access whatever their proclivities are. We shouldn't make it so easy for children to come face to face with some of those things and lose their childhood too early. It's always been and that's why I've always had sometimes a challenge with the advertisement of alcohol on TV, you know, on prime time, that parents and children are all watching, because if you're an alcohol consumer, you know where you should go and get your alcohol. So it goes beyond just sexuality education. If we want to teach morality and ethical behavior and good conduct, the content on our TV is a major source of socialization for our children. And the habits they are picking up from all of these telenovelas, all of these programs on, so the conversation is broad. And when you broaden it, you see that we all have questions to answer. Policymakers who have allowed the unbridled liberalization of the airwaves to the extent that every content goes, and you are a country that is resetting, you want to build a new Ghanaian, you know, with the right values, and yet every day that Ghanaian is being bombarded by, you know, behaviors and habits and content from other people that is also now shaping our own behaviors and attitudes. So the conversation is broad. The media must know about it. The Ghana Standards Authority must be interested in what we are bringing into the country. The National Media Commission must be interested in the content, because media remains the most powerful tool for social conscientization. And if we're to reset our minds, the media needs to give us content that is edifying, that you know, would bring back patriotism, love for country. What are these Ghanaian values that we are speaking about? Because the child doesn't know it. You don't tell them what is the value of these Ghanaian values. This family system, let's talk about it. You know, home. Let's show, and it must start from home and family and home. So please, the conversation is way beyond what 2 lines are in a teacher's manual. That is the least of the challenges that today's child faces in this global, the global world. But the president position has always been, he is a president for Ghana. He does not support LGBTQ or its advocacy or its expressions. And so for him, this is where the education minister is also publicly communicated his position. Yesterday, the communications
if you could wrap up
minister,
for me, please.
The Minister of Government Communications, my boss Felix, also reiterated government's position on this matter. And I think the issue of NACAP and this matter is closed. Anybody who wants to beat it up has maybe their own peculiar agenda. There are so many important things we must be talking about, ensuring our classrooms are fit for purpose, ensuring that our students in rural areas have desks and furniture to sit. They have blackboards and computers to learn ICT properly and ethically. You know, internet to be able to also understand the Internet of Things and how to do proper research to back their education. We must give all of these issues as much traction as we give these other matters.
Let me get your 1 minute thoughts on this, and really on the point. I'll come to you, Madam Ayana, for your final thoughts as well. But Madam Ayana has always been talking about the role of parents and society in educating or giving holistic education to our children. You're a parent yourself. Where do you stand on that in terms of really parents playing their role in this area as well? And I'll get your final thoughts.
Okay, so this, I've also talked about it. I think the last time we were talking about yes, so we should always be vigilant. And this thing that is running around in town that is bestie, male having a bestie male, a female having a bestie female, and you see the post on TikToks, and it's a very worrying thing. We parents should also have time to look at what our kids are doing. I am a teacher, I'll do my best no matter what. But how many hours do the kids have with us, the teachers, and how many hours do they have on their own without their parents as well? You see, we are all running around looking for money, doing our own errands, and we leave our kids. Sometimes, even in the house, every time you see mommy on the phone, daddy on the phone, and the kids on their iPad, and everybody is doing what they want.
No time to take care of the child.
No time. Even when we are eating. During dinner or lunch, I tell my kids, put the phones away. And even my first child, before entering university, if it was because of Legon campus, he needs phones to do his assessments and stuff. That was when he got his first phone. You see, so we should be responsible as parents. And I don't know if Shamima can channel this, if the government can also bring a policy where there will be an age limit for our social media. The other countries are doing that. If Ghana can also look at that for us, it's very important, because if you see a child sending you a friend request on Facebook and telling you, sweetheart, you are looking beautiful, and you go to the person's contact and you see the age, it's like something is going on wrong with the youth.
Something is going on.
So we should have a look at it.
But again, I wanted you to, because we're also looking at really holistic education, and when we talk about education, Finland is spoken about the kind of high quality focus, all of that they give. How do you think we need to model our kind of education, just so that we are training people to also deal with problems in society, like we talk about Finland and other countries do?
Well, Finland has got it right. Very good students are the teachers. It's not the other option. You understand? We are mostly having the other option. Finland is having first choice, teaching. You know, you have a first class, you go to teach. Because you are brilliant, you go and teach. But we are having, it's an option. I can't get here, so I have to go and teach. That's the difference. You understand? You know, I feel so sad that some time back, you could walk with your girlfriend, you know, your friend, and you hold hands. You know, we hold hands.
Yeah.
Female to female. You hold hands, you hit each other, you whatever. These days, you can't do it. People look at you with different eyes. But these are normal, natural African things that we do. You understand? And for me, that hurts. That now you cannot. You can't even go abroad and do that. And people will think that you're just being friendly. Maybe they think you're being something else. So I think that the home has to take first place. The technology has come and it's taken over parenting. And these are some of the things that we'll have to look at. It's something that we have to fight, and it means that we have to make time ourselves for the kids at home. You cannot stop your child from going somewhere to go and watch a pornography film or something. But in your own home, you can decide. I remember growing up, 8 o'clock, no TV for you, because that's adult time. So you watch from the 6 o'clock when it was black and white, not even colored, black and white. 6 o'clock to 8, and then that's it. You go, and today our children are watching till midnight because you don't even have control over them. So we have to start from the home. The mindset has to come from the families, from the parents, from adults. You get me? So this is what I think we ought to do. The mindset has to come from us. You should be able to discipline your child. You should be able to talk to your child, to make your child understand these differences of letting a child know that these are our values, these are moral standing. It all starts from the home.
Yeah.
But yeah, it starts from the home. So if you are not able to do that for your children, then you are actually leaving them to go out there and learn anything at all. And that's
then
dangerous.
also, I always say another intervention we always lose out is with the teacher training institutions. Because again, in as much as parents at the home is the basic, our children are spending so many hours with teachers. So we must understand.
So there's a message. There's a message from Yao Febere on Facebook. It says the students are exposed to sex sensitivity through peers, social media. So if such LGBTQ and its related practice are inculcated in the classroom, like NACA has done, it's rather seal of thinking. Well, NACA, like I did say, has said that it has recalled those particular. Or those copies and new ones printed. Let me read this message from Stephen Penwa, who says, good morning to your ladies. NACA's apology has come too late to Ghanaians. Some few years back stood up against the secret. So kind of saying the same thing that you mentioned earlier. A number of you sending in a lot of your messages, but thank you so much for sending in your messages. Well, that will be it for the big issue here on Newday on TV3. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to say a big thank you as well to Eddie Joy for my costume. And yes, if you want to look smart and fashionable, visit any Woodin boutique nationwide today. Woodin offers an amazing collection of authentic African fabrics and ready to wear that come in beautiful designs and the colors for men and women. With Woodin, you can get creative and versatile with your designs. Be confident and show off how truly African you are in Woodin. So go to a Woodin boutique near you today and choose from a variety of trendy products to complement your unique style. Follow Woodin Fashion on Facebook, Instagram at Woodin Fashion and TikTok at Woodin_fashion. Woodin, le créateur. And of course, when we come back, we'll bring you some more. My name is Beatrice Edus. Thank you for staying with us. And you're still here on Newday on TV3. It's time for sports. The Mutala Yakubu is here. Hi, Mutala.
Hi, Beatrice.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm great. You're in black. Me that I supported Nigeria that was
no,
scored.
We are mourning.
I'm not in black.
We are mourning our West African neighbors. And
oh, Charlie.
It's a sad end for them.
Oh, God.
Especially knowing that they are not also going to participate in the World Cup.
Yes.
It was a tough time for them. They are blaming Daniel Lai. But from what we watched, I mean,
it had nothing to do with him.
It had nothing to do with Daniel Lai. It was just the fact that they didn't create enough chances. And they are playing against a host nation. If you don't score, sometimes the tomfoolery that happens at the stadium all gets you. And I think that got to Nigeria during the penalty shootout.
Yeah.
And they lost out by 4-2. The sad thing for them is that they will be playing a third or fourth game against Egypt, who also lost against Senegal. But nobody remembers who was third.
Anyway,
in the
at
tournament.
least.
Yeah. But nobody remembers who was third in the tournament. It's about even the second place.
Yeah.
Usually we don't remember. It's about who won the tournament.
I mean, yesterday I said I was supporting Nigeria and Senegal. At least Senegal made me proud. But it's sad what happened to Nigeria.
Yes, and I mean, Nigeria know that the only way to redeem their image after that failed attempt to qualify for the World Cup would have been to win this and appease the people back home.
Yep.
But for the first time...
But that was their goal, actually.
For the first time, I'm having a lot of Nigerians applaud the effort of the team. It's rare to see that. Nigerians are just like Ghanaians. The backlash will be a lot. But for the first time, a lot of them on social media are applauding the team for the bravery and all that. It was just too much for them coming up against the host nation. And once they failed to score in 90 minutes, penalty, it's a lottery. It's luck. Anyone at all can win.
Then it means they will not call for the head of the coach or any other person.
Well, the coach is in demand at the moment because even the Tunisian FA want to bring him in. So I'm sure Nigerians will want to stick with him. But not just that, we also had Senegal, Egypt, Mohamed Salah, another disappointment for him. Egypt have won the Cup of Nations on 7 occasions, but he is yet to win with them. This was viewed like his last AFCON. And guess who scored for Senegal? His own friend at Liverpool, Sadio Mane, was the one that hurt his feelings. But that is football. Sadio Mane also wants to win it before he bows out. And yesterday, after the game, he even talked about the fact that he feels this is his last Africa Cup of Nations. So he also wants to bow out on a high. But I feel sad for Mohamed Salah not being able to, with all that he's achieved in football, not being able to win the AFCON. Because it's always special to win something with your nation. But that is the reality of life. Senegal in the final, they would be playing Morocco on Sunday. But on Saturday, a third place game for who wants to win the bronze. It will be Nigeria who will come up against Egypt.
Well, what else do we need to know?
A lot that you need to know. Quick one, Chelsea lost yesterday.
Oh, I mean, when Chelsea loses, you know I'm excited because I am an Arsenal fan. So.
But yesterday, you know, Bill is in Morocco, so after the game, he spoke
Thomas Adote Papa will be crying.
He spoke to a number of journalists in there, and this is their reaction.
I think it was a game of grit, a game of marginal lines, whereby Morocco had to go all the way. Go past the nerves of going into extra time without scoring. Morocco came into this game having conceded only one goal. That was against Mali. So at some point, you felt like there was a better side coming into this one. However much Nigeria had scored goals. But Nigeria today lacked the sharpness up front. Because having scored 14 and you failed to score in 120 minutes, you feel that was not something that the coach would have liked. But the penalty takers, for me, I felt the body language was quite lacking because you felt there was no penalty taker that went on to that ball with lots of confidence. You felt they were grizzling, apart from the first penalty taker. So going ahead, you feel like the coach still has a lot to do, but he has done so much because in the games that he has been in charge of the team, they have only lost 2, and today they have lost in penalties. So the Nigerians have to become, allow this team to go through the transition. Yes, they're not going to be the World Cup. There is more time for them to organize. Maybe coming forward in the AFCON that will be played in East Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, I think there will be a better side.
I think it was deserved because looking at the game and looking at the stats and the numbers from the game, you could tell that Morocco were the team that wanted it more because Nigeria coming into this game had been the most successful team in terms of attack. They had scored 14 goals, the most by any country in this tournament, but they had an XG of 0.05. That tells you that the attack on the day was blunt. Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, Ako Adams were failed to deliver as they were supposed to. So I think Morocco deserve a lot of credit. They came into this game with a good strategy, and although they couldn't get a goal, when it went to penalty shootouts, you could tell that they were the team that practiced the penalties the most during their training session. So I think it's a deserved win for Morocco. They deserve this victory.
At first, I will not want to put I don't want to give any excuse about officiating. You understand, but I feel like the referee actually didn't do well. I feel like he refereed like someone that was under pressure. That an assignment tonight.
Was disappointed. Even if you're a journalist or you have a tie with your country, and it's very disappointing. Disappointing again because we've missed 2 key opportunities, losing out of the World Cup qualifiers, on penalties against DR Congo, and again, losing to Morocco on penalties. So that means we need to take our penalties seriously. I think it's a big call for Eric Chell that maybe another major tournament we have to miss out on penalties. So disappointing. The boys did our best. We had just one shot on target. So I wouldn't say we actually deserve to win. But when it comes to penalties, anybody can win. Nobody saved the first penalty. So unfortunately, we couldn't win. Disappointed, but of course, let's just go and win the bronze and have something to return back to Nigeria with.
Divided opinions there amongst the journalists, especially the Nigerian journalists are not happy with Daniel Laye. But let's go to Morocco before we come back to the studio and have some discussion, because Bill is standing by. Bill, this morning we know that the final is set on Sunday. Morocco will be coming up against Senegal, and Egypt would also take on Nigeria in the 3rd place game. But I mean, how would you react to what happened yesterday, especially after the game where there was a lot of backlash from Nigerians concerning Daniel Laye?
For me, I was surprised with how Nigeria performed, because they were steamrolling a lot of teams before the semi-finals of the AFCON. We saw that brilliant performance that they put up against Algeria, and a lot of people thought that they were going to give Morocco a run for their money, but that didn't happen. Victor Osimhen was offering them. Ademola Lookman was mostly offering them. Iwobi was also offering them. I remember seeing him misplace a couple of passes, and the sort of reaction that he gave was sort of showing that no, he's not really in it today. Yesterday in that particular match. And Morocco, as the game dragged on and it was still 0-0, the feeling was that Morocco would have the advantage, because they've been in high-pressure penalty situations against Spain in the World Cup, and they managed to defeat Spain, whilst Nigeria lost to DR Congo on penalties. So as the game was dragging on and was getting ever closer to penalties, there was that feeling that Morocco were definitely favourites for that. And when it got to it, we saw Yassine Bono make 2 crucial saves, and now Morocco in the final. Of course, for Mohamed Salah in Egypt, heartbreak once again, but for Senegal, I saw a video of Senegalese cheering and making merry in Dakar. That shows how passionate they are at the AFCON. But people do forget that Senegal have been so dominant in the last 4 AFCONs, reaching 3 different finals in the last 4 AFCONs. So you shouldn't be surprised how well Senegal have performed in the AFCON in the last few years. But it's going to be a cracker between Senegal and Morocco. I think Morocco will use their fans once again, because they were really menacing. They were really loud. They combined the PA system to natural noise. And so it was very, very loud, deafening at the stadium. I think they are going to increase the tempo even more for the final.
Of course, and on Sunday we'll be keeping tabs on that. But finally, before you go, does it feel like it's the end for Mohamed Salah?
I think he can wait for the next AFCON. Maybe he's 33 at the moment. There's still some opportunity to wait for at least the next AFCON to decide where he does stand. But it's going to be difficult for him unless Egypt spring up a number of world-class players or a number of top talents in the next 1 or 2 years to help Salah compete, because he's still their main man and age is definitely not on his side, and so he will need a lot of support. Omar Mamouche is there, but I don't think he's enough. I think he needs a lot more support in this team.
Okay, so thanks very much, Bill, there. And you know that Bill's travel to Morocco was powered by Adansi Travels. And this morning, we have them right here. it's a pleasure to have you both. But first of all, we will say thank you for airlifting Bill to Morocco. You did same for me. I went to Morocco last year, and it was a beautiful experience. I mean, seamless. And Adanse, I mean, I will always say that you guys are brilliant. But let's have a conversation. We have the CEO himself here. The last time it was Mr. Yao Chuks. Today we have the CEO, Mr. Gideon himself, to tell us more. But Beatrice, I mean, this is Adanse, and this is what they do. Yes. It is always a good time for them. Well, before we go into that, you would go back to Bill, right?
Yes, let me go back to Bill. Bill Eshen, I mean, you've been reporting. Just tell us really how your experience has been traveling to Morocco, and of course, what's happened. Powered by Adanse, tell us how your experience has been.
I think it's been brilliant. The flight was seamless, of course, facilitated or powered by Adanse Travels, which was really, really lovely. I really enjoyed the flight. Of course, Air Morocco also provided a special package for all those who were going to the AFCON, which was also really nice. And I think the sort of environment here, it sort of looks like Europe. And it's no surprise. Morocco shares a border with Spain. And so a lot of the facilities look modern. Even the stadium, the Prince Moulay Abdullah Stadium, looked so beautiful. And overall, but I mean, if you're a typical African, the only thing you struggle with is the weather. And as you can see, I've been wearing, most of the time I wear a jacket or I wear a hoodie to move around because the weather is really, really cold. At some points, I've dealt with 6 degrees Celsius. But I think overall, everything has been so beautiful. And Morocco don't joke with their train system. They have train systems that go throughout the city. And it's a very nice experience to have. Because, I mean, in Ghana, we don't have train systems that go throughout the city. So it's really beautiful.
It's beautiful, he says. And of course, you can tell that he had a fantastic time with Adanse Travels. Thank you very much, Bilishen. Talking about train system, I mean, we've been talking about transport since morning, yes.
Yeah, I mean, Morocco is beautiful. So no wonder Adanse does it better. So we have the CEO himself here, Mr. Gideon Asare. Yes. And we have the Sales and Product Development Manager, Sewa Boating Bene. Now, let me start with you, Mr. Gideon. How do you do it? Because it looks like everyone has a good review when it comes to Adanse.
Well, so we prioritize our clients. For Adanse, we say we don't have clients, we have family. So for whoever passes through us to make a journey, we make it count. And we focus on how best we can, give a wow factor to the person and make sure that you get value for whatever is paid.
And that is great because one of the reviews that I see mostly about Adanse has to be the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. A lot of people talk about how nice it was, the package you gave them. Tell us about that experience.
2022 World Cup was amazing. Personally, it was my first time going to a World Cup, and what I remember most was the first match. And being in the stadium and watching Ronaldo, on the pitch, and it's a different experience. So when you watch from TV, you enjoy, but the joy itself is in the stadium, and we made sure that our clients travel seamlessly. So from Kotoka, we had our team help them check in, and I was personally with them. We got to Doha. Our transport was waiting. We were conveyed to the hotel. And then on each match day, there was a transport to the stadium. And we arrived in time, get seated, and we had our jerseys on, branded with your name on it. And we all gathered in one particular part of the stadium cheering Blasters. And on the days that we didn't have much, we will arrange transport to the fan villages and cheer other teams up, and sometimes we will sit together in the hotel. So it was a whole
experience on its
own.
own.
A whole vibe on its own.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, from Bilishen and what you've been saying, it tells a lot. But I'm coming to you, Madam Boating, because, I mean, Ghana is playing in Toronto, Boston, and Philadelphia. Yet, I mean, we haven't started playing yet. You found the need for you to go to these places early enough. I'm just wondering why you thought that there was a need to be on the ground this early.
Well, so good morning to our Nigerian friends. I hope that you're coming to support the Black Stars win the World Cup. Gideon actually just returned from Toronto and the US. And why we do that is because when we develop a product at Adansi Travels, we want to make sure that we've been there, we've seen it, we've experienced it, and that we are taking you to somewhere that's deserving. So we put in the effort. So Gideon visited the stadium in Toronto. He went to Boston and Philadelphia. We looked at all the accommodations that will be given to you. We make sure that the transport arrangement is done. You have somewhere that is comfortable to relax and enjoy and all that. So we develop products, like Gideon said, as a family. If you're doing something for your brother or your sister, you have to make sure that it's in the best of taste. And
that's wonderful. And a lot of Ghanaians are looking forward to going to US to support the Black Stars.
Yeah, because it's a big occasion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what packages are there, aside from, you know, the individuals that you're sponsoring to go there?
Well, so we have 6 packages. So our platinum package will take you to Toronto and US. That's for all 3 games. Then we have our gold packages that would feature 2 matches. So if you want to do Toronto and the US, that's available for 2 games. Then we have those who want to be based only in the US. So you can do Philadelphia and Boston for 2 games, or you can choose to do 1 game. So if you want to go to just Canada and watch us trash Panama, you can do that. Or if you want to join us for all 3 and finish the English team in Boston, you can also do
But
that.
let me chip in this, Mr. Gideon, because there are fears from many when it comes to the acquisition of visa, especially with the news that came yesterday. How is Adansi handling this? And can people still acquire visa when they come through you?
Yeah, so the news that came yesterday was on immigrant visas, and these visas are for people who are relocating to stay in the US. So talk of the DV visa lottery, those who family have applied green card for them and stuff like that. So those are the ones that they have put a temporary pause. But when it comes to non-immigrant visas, which includes the one that we use for the World Cup, B1, B2, is still ongoing. Currently we have close to 200 already secure appointment date for them. We started this World Cup campaign almost a year now. So we have people who are paid, and then we registered them, and then we got them onto the FIFA portal. So they are waiting for the announcement from FIFA to get their match tickets.
Okay.
So we just not talking. We already taking action and helping, because if we don't do that, it will not be fair for Blaster to be in the stadium and only other fans are there. You don't.
That is huge. But how do people reach Adansi? Any contacts that you can put out? Any social media handles available as well?
Yeah. So we encourage everyone to go onto our website, www.adansitravels.com. You can also reach me 055 631 0404. Or you can go onto all our social media platforms. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. But our website offers you a very good deal. We have our smart travel plan that gives you up to 17% discount.
Well, Beatrice, one thing I can say about Adansi is that they are genuine. I've experienced Adansi in Morocco, so I know that these are genuine people that you need to work with as far as going to the World Cup is concerned.
Well, Damutala Yakubu, thank you very much for bringing us the latest in sports. You're back at 10, right?
Of course.
Of course, with some more. Thank you so much for joining in, and to Adansi as well for taking Bilishen out there to Morocco and all the experiences you give us. Well, you're still here on Newday on TV3. When we come back, we'll bring you some more, including coming to your community to bring you or highlight your water situation or challenge. Do stay with us. Communication Arts. And our BSc in Artificial Intelligence and Robotics Engineering are the first and only one of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa. With world-class facilities and industry-experienced faculty, students do not just learn the latest technology, they actually create it. And for working professionals and young graduates, we have got you covered as well. With our MSc programs in cybersecurity and data science analytics, as well as our professional certificate programs. At Academic City, our programs are practical, relevant, and future-focused. You can call us now on 026-269-3870 or visit acity.edu.gh for more information. Admissions are open now. Academic City, make your mark. So early in the day, we brought you that story from the Medina station where my colleague Christian Yale interacted with some individuals, both students and workers, who were having challenges getting vehicle to their destinations or vehicles. Christian has moved from Medina to Achimota, the Ayalolo station, just to also get to find out what's happening there. I want us to go to him again, just so we can get an understanding of what's happening there as well. Chris, take it over.
This is a yard that is housing a lot of buses. Most of them are the Ayalolo buses that were procured years ago, but they are still parked here. Most of them are rusting away indeed, and you realize that some do not even have the tires fixed, and so they are just almost stationary here and not being used. This is the yard when you get to the Achimota new station, and that is the situation here. Many of the buses are here parked but rusting away, no ties. Some are entirely grounded. They are entirely grounded. And when you look into your shot, there are some VIP buses as well that are on the ground, almost falling apart. That is the situation here when you get to the Achimota news station. TV3, we have gotten this exclusive access. We are not being allowed to go inside to film, the exact defects of these buses. But you see that bus, for instance, that particular one with the front part broken. You see a lot of the buses, and when you enter, there are some that do not even have seats. These are buses that have been grounded here for years. Ever since they were procured, many of these buses have not been used even before. And you see some of the windscreens broken, and you see some of them having their tires entirely removed. It means that they have been grounded for several years. And so that is the real challenge. We are trying to see if we can quickly alight and get to pick a quick shot of some of the buses. So when you look at this bus, for instance, the one in your shot right now, you would realize that the windscreen is entirely off. And this has been a situation for years now. And then when you come here and take a closer look over there, you see the situation of those two buses. No tires. It's on the ground right now. It is entirely grounded. A lot of them. You can count almost 100 of the buses in this yard that are not being used or have not been maintained for several years, and so you cannot get to use them. This is like to be a fence wall that should keep the buses safe, but it is entirely broken down. So even though they told me earlier that I wouldn't get access, you would realize that I can easily get access now to even get inside to show you a lot more of it. But that is the situation here. Look at a lot of the buses here at the Achimota news station that are grounded in this yard. but are not being used. And I'm sure that this is one of the transport minister would take a keen interest in if we are looking at bringing more buses, especially the agreements that we know has been signed to bring in about 100 of the EV buses, the electric buses, and even the current arrangement with Metromass to get more of their buses coming into town to transport people. But you see a lot of them here. See, these ones, all their tires have been removed, and you realize that it is almost the same situation when you look at most of the buses that are in this yard. Let me show you just another of the bus with the windscreens and everything torn apart. Nothing to write home about. This one, even if you decide to maintain, it would cost you a lot. You are better off staying away from anything maintenance. So that is it. It's just an aspect of the whole conversation. We are looking at more buses on the roads, but indeed, there are more buses here that have not been maintained for several years, that have not been paid attention to, that have been grounded, no attention paid to them. Is it that we have forgotten about them, or what is the situation?
Quite an eyesore, you call it. Really, who was supposed to ensure that these buses, my colleague Christian Yale just mentioned, about 100 of them in that yard, who was supposed to ensure that these buses were running? And how come that they've been left abandoned for this long and in the state? Who is to be held accountable for this? I think that that's something that the transport, perhaps the roads ministry as well, need to come in to investigate individuals who are responsible for those buses and ensure they account for it. If it means surcharging, like we see Public Accounts Committee surcharging individuals who have caused financial loss to the state, perhaps they need to look into all of these just so we are able to deal with this problem all round, and these buses would start running. Yes, yesterday, like I did say earlier, the spokesperson for the president, or the minister in charge of government communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, did mention that the transport ministry was collaborating with Metromass to repair some of the buses that were grounded so they could be on the road. Yet we have Ayalolo purchased or procured with state money, a number of them grounded, and the government is having to spend extra money somewhere. Well, we'll bring you more of that later, but that's something that needs to be looked into, and individuals held accountable for why we have seen the buses in those states. But again, right here on TV3, we've been bringing you as well that issue about water crisis, TV3, 3FM, and what people are going through just to get the basic necessity of water. We've been to Teshi, we've been to some other areas as well. My colleague Roland Walker has returned to Nungwa, to some communities there, to actually the desalination plants. And we've been saying, and I also did say earlier, that we had information that it had been shut down for some time. Roland has gone there to really bring us what the situation is. Why is it shut down? Why don't people have water? Because that plant has a problem. Let's watch exactly what Roland has been able to find out.
By 2015, a public-private partnership arrangement had been undertaken by the government of Ghana at the cost of some $162 million for the construction of this factory or treatment plant, as we have it right here at Teshi. It's called the desalination plant that is located right here. So we're just behind the plant, actually. This $126 million facility has been fraught with a number of challenges by way of its operation. The cost of operation itself, according to the operators and then also the Ghana Water Company, has been challenged by excessive operational costs. As a result of that, it has faced consistent shutdowns during its span or since it was constructed and then operated. Well, we're just behind the Teshi desalination plant, and residents have no option than to use residue, that's wastewater or water just seeping from the plant through their own pipes, just also directed into the sea for their domestic chores. So you find that we have the residents who coming from some close areas where the desalination plant has been set. We're not necessarily here to only speak to these residents, but also take a look at the state of the plant. And the plant has been idle since the month of October 2025. The question is, when can it be restarted so that water is treated from the desalination plant so that residents also Nungwa, part of the Spintex area, that seem to have access to water if this plant, the desalination plant, is fully operational. So residents fetch the water. They have no choice than to do that. So let me ask this gentleman. This clean water, right?
Yeah, it's a clean water.
Okay. So you fetch them from here, then you use it for washing, right?
Yeah, I used to bath. I used to cook. Because according to the people here, they say the water have already been refined. Yeah. So this is the one they link here.
Okay. So do you drink it as well?
No, I don't drink it.
Or just for your domestic washing, bathing, and something like
cooking.
Cooking.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can, because I see that it's clean water.
Yeah, it's a clean water. It's very clean water.
But how well are you conversant with poor access to water in the Teshi area?
Like, to say the truth, the water is really suffering us here. Like where I'm coming from is very far to this place to get water. Yes, it's very far. It's not easy. Yeah. We really need water in this country. Yeah. In this area, Nugwa, we need water. Yes.
Thank you very much. What's your first name?
My name is Precious Akbewe.
Okay. Precious Akbewe. Thank you so much for helping us and then talking to us as well. So the residents try as much as possible. They do their best to make sure that they get access to the water, and if they can, then they will fetch in gallons. So we have this gentleman, for example, who has fetched in this gallon. The question I then would want to ask him is which area closer to here are you coming from to fetch water?
Let's just say a mile.
Oh, just a mile?
Yeah, just a mile.
Okay, so it's quite a few distance. You brought a car or you walked?
No, I just walked. So I'll probably just walk home and come back again.
You come. So how many of these gallons would you fetch in a particular day?
For now, I need like 5. So I have to go for 5 times. Yeah.
What type of chores do you use? Is this water used for in your home or where you live?
So for this, I'm going to use it for construction and washing. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to use this for. Basically.
Not for drinking?
No, at all.
It looks quite clean, and I'm seeing it just sipping from the factory pipes, and it's clean water.
Well, I heard it's clean, but it's actually not ideal for drinking or cooking, so I don't use it for that.
What's your first name?
Desmond.
I wish you all the best for the day, and thank you for speaking to us. Resident of Teshi, just behind the Teshi desalination plant, and this plant constructed at a cost of $126 million. It's a private-public partnership. You build, operate, and you transfer. And the period for operationalization hasn't come to an end yet. But since it started operations, it's been fraught with difficulties. A lot of residents, particularly those who are journeying the operational area of the plant, take advantage of the proximity of where they are, come behind the plant because there's a pipe that has been constructed through perhaps a wastewater coming through. Even though it looks clean, we cannot ascertain whether it could be used for drinking. But I know that it's clean enough for you to use to wash, as well as undertake other chores at home or wherever you are operating from. And I believe that that's what many of these residents come here to do. I'll speak to about 2 more individuals, and then we will be in a position to also gauge why they tend to come here, because we have clean water, but also what the situation is in their homes. Ni nyenuwe ye what's the situation like, because na Kenya babie just behind the desalination plant nyambana nu fio nyeke foni ke nyeke feni bi
ofane wonanu we ka gbele pipe me kome penny na wonanu no end of the month enwe ke ka ke bileba shi wonanu ewo manke wo ba fo nu ko ke ya ka wo ba fo ni enwe ke ka wo ba fo ye bi.
No, how many times in your bar every week? To allo every day. How many times do you come in a day?
Ofane keje waje ke ba bia egbejeke. Ewo ye mi anhu e keke wote oshimanke wo ba ke wo ba ngbene wo ba ke na kan wo fiole.
O akucho ye mam ye jingbe.
Ofane wo ye
Yeri agbeji.
Tebu.
Ah, o ye ma tebu.
Ofane.
Shima.
Ma ndabi nungwa.
Nungwani.
Nungwani. We nungwa ma tebu.
Or funny just normal domestic items. You're doing your laundry. Or funny bi. So nyenuo ekolo.
Ofane wonu wo here pure water.
Pure water nyeken.
Wonu.
Kenya nyenta nye ho ni kenakani.
Wonye wo ke wo.
Because me na ke clean water ni shin nye hito nu.
Wo hitio. Wo hitio.
Dan
no waka woni kometo ele wo hitio.
Saninya hit dan nyenuo, even though it's clean.
Wonu nuwe. Ke wo ba nu wo here pure water ni wonu.
All right, wish you all the best, Doris. Is it Doris?
Doreen Amankwa.
Doreen Amankwa. I love the name Doreen Amankwa. If I mean joke be, your friend say, hey, madam doesn't want to talk to me. All right, not everybody wants to come on camera, you know. So it's also important we respect privacy. That's why also we just show their backs, because they don't necessarily want. And but your friend say,
Barbara.
Okay, Barbara. How many times do you come here to fetch water?
Twice a week.
Oh, twice a week. Did you have enough water to be able to wash everything that you want?
Yes.
Okay. So when do you start coming here? Were you told by residents that the places, or because you live here, you know?
I live here because I live here.
How is the water situation in town?
It's very bad. It's very bad. They just open the water once a week. So you see everybody there rushing to get clean water. At times you only get 1 gallon. So it's very bad. That's why we've been coming here too.
But I thought they were open for long hours. So if you're able to fetch.
Yes.
How many gallons do you have at home?
About 10.
Oh, you have 10 of the yellow, the 4 gallons. Tomongo, Ona. As if you sell oil. But so what quantity of items are you able to wash in a particular week, since you come here 2 times a week?
Not much.
So it's easier now, right? You just have small items to wash. You just walk in and then.
Yes.
All right. It's clean water.
Yes, it's clean water.
Do you drink some?
No.
But you use it to do other things.
Yes.
Okay. If there's one thing you would want to be done, especially to open the water, especially what appeal would you give the Ghana Water Company? How would you?
They should hurry up and open our water for us. Yes, because we are suffering.
God bless you, Babs. Machebo Babs. Barbara. So I just spoke to Barbara, and so a lot of people come here to watch the scenery, but also get to fetch the water. And the water is coming from the pipe, almost emitting residue, so to speak, or waste water. But if I take a look at it with my physical eyes, it looks clean to me, quite clean water. And we're just behind the Tashi desalination plant. So the plant is here since 2015. This great edifice put together, but according to our sources, it's very expensive to operate. So they take the source of the water from the sea, Then they remove the salt content through chemical processes for clean water to be gotten. But the operational expense just makes it difficult, not only for the company, the government of Ghana, but also the Ghana Water Company. Irrespective of that, the residents of Teshi, Nungwa, Spintex, La, and all those who are on the channel to get access to water that is processed from these plants would need this reopened, get to have it operational again so that they can have access to water. Now back to the studio.
My colleague Roland Walker there bringing us update from the faulty, I should say, desalination plant in Nungwa and the challenges people are facing there. Of course, although not functioning, people fetching water through the back of that plant just so they are able to get what they need for their daily activities. And stay tuned in here because we'll be coming to your community to tell your story regarding water crisis in your area, just to ensure that we bring it to the attention of authorities. So what needs to be done for you to get this basic necessity will be done for you to get it and make life a bit more easier for you. Well, if you've got a gifted child at home, this is your moment. Talented Kids Season 17 auditions are officially open. Yes, in Kumasi, we meet at Mecklin Hotel on the 18th of January 2026 from 8 a.m. sharp. And for our Accra families, auditions come your way right here at the premises of TV3 on the 20th of January 2026, also from 8 a.m. as well. A Talented Kids Season 17, where talent finds a stage. Yes, so don't forget the time. Oh, well, again, as we talk about Talented Kids, then there is Mentor, because the journey ends on Sunday, the 25th of January 2026, as Mentor crowns its next star. 6 finalists, 1 winner, 1 historic night. TK, Andy Quams, Achedie, Kwekushai, Ivy Hollies, and DNA go head-to-head in a battle of vocal dexterity, electrifying performances, and dazzling dance steps in the Mentor finale. Who walks away with the ultimate prize? Well, you'll get to find out at the National Theatre Sunday, 25th of January 2026 at 8 p.m. sharp. Tickets are already selling at 50 Ghana cedis. The stage is set. The vote and performance is decided. Oh, yes. So to push your favorite contestant to the grand prize, dial *713 *13 hash. Yes, *713 *13 hash, or download the MG Reality app. Vote now and keep their dream alive. Be there. It's live at the National Theatre and cheer your contestant to victory. It will be an exciting experience. So see you there. Remember, at the National Theatre on the 25th of January 2026. Tickets are selling 50 Ghana cedis per. So get that and see you there. Come cheer your favorite contestant on. And are you ready to scratch, win, and live your dreams? Review Scratch for Win is here to change your life. Just dial *850 *3 hash to stand the chance to win up to 1 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes instantly. It's easy, it's exciting, and it's regulated by the National Lottery Authority. Just dial *850 *3 hash or visit www.scratchforwin.com to play now. It's easy to play. Simply dial *850 *3 hash on all networks. You select your preferred stake amount, that's 5 Ghana cedis, up to 2,000 Ghana cedis. You also choose your lucky card out of 5 exciting option 4. Confirm your selection and enter your Momo PIN 5. Receive your game result and winnings instantly. It's easy, fun, and exciting. Get ready to scratch, win, and live your best life with Review Scratch for Win. Up to 1 million Ghana cedis for grabs today. I remind you again, it's star 850 star 3 hash is the short code to play on all networks, or visit www.scratchforwin.com to play now. Review Scratch for Win, scratch keke, nedisika, say bum. Review is strictly for persons 18 years and above. Review Scratch for Wins is powered by Super Cash Games. It's your birthday today. We want to help you celebrate and ensure that you have the best of the day. So whose birthday is it? It's the birthday of Thy Will Elom Jekpo of ETD Clothing in Jekpo. Okay, in Adenta. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Wishing you all the best for today. Mr. Hugh Tay Adam. Age gracefully from your family and friends. Happy birthday to you. Madam Elizabeth Wemega, we pray for God's continued protection with good health. We love you from your children, Madam Elizabeth. Mrs. Abigail Lasse, woman with the heart of gold. We love you from the Ado family. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Miss Lily and Lillian Agbenyaga, wishing you double the fun and endless blessings from your sister Adodo Agbenyaga and children. Happy 40th birthday to Ernest Ashi, aka Chairman. God bless you. Happy birthday to you, sir. Also, Sewa Jacqueline, may the good Lord bless your new age from your parents and family. Happy birthday to you, young lady. Abdul Majid, may your life be filled with love and endless blessings. Love you. Oh, this is from Prudence at Makeup. That's her son. Happy birthday to you, Abdul Majid. You're loved. Adepa, may God bless you so much from your mother. Okay, Priscilla Oyedakwa, CEO of Fulgent Event Ghana. May God bless you plenty from Bernard Garcia Jr. From Bernardo here. Sophia Alote, happy birthday to you, young lady. Florence Asante of Calvary Church Choir and YPG. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Lily Amakisiwa Edu, member of Mount Olives Presby Church, Patasi Estate. Happy birthday to you. Lovely photo shoot, Roland will say. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. And of course, I was here with Roland Walker, my colleague. My name is Beatrice Sedu. For myself and the entire team, Coco, Anita, Amuncho, Lord, Mr. all of us, thank you so much for joining us. Do join us again tomorrow, and also do enjoy the rest of our programs today. My name is Beatrice Sedu. Have a wonderful day.